trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world, I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon, and I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you really are? Show me that you are still the only one for me. I'll be waiting for you. Blink out, open your eyes, raising up with this and smashing through time walls. Before the rifts when turns again, we are rebels till the end. Rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals till the end of time. We are Cloak and Dagger. We are hope and fear. Score one for Tandy.
Lights out. Score one for Ty.
A boom of life. My time to shine.
Suffer in the darkness.
Co-op time. Us against the world.
Ran the table. Sweet.
Widow standing by. Target neutralized. The Widow's bite is lethal. Hit them till they don't get up. You can rest now, Bucky. No way to miss now. Plasma burst! Widow style.
Let's race! You had that coming. Don't get back up. Coming at you. Come on. Berserker! Rage! Told you I was the best.
Eat nuts and kick butts. Got him, Tippy! Hey, check out this big acorn! Score one for the squirrels! Ah, it's a squirrel nami! Huh, where do you think you're going? Squirrel stampede! Anybody want some nuts?
My power is a gift from Solal the Undying. Struck down by living chi. Dragon kick! Ball Yuan Shou Yi. Perfect hit! The dragon unleashed! Qi Guan Changlong! My
My fist is unrivaled!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marvel Rivals Invitational. My name is Dustin, joined by Jake. We're here on day number 2, buddy, and it's been, obviously, first day was exciting. That first matchup that you guys had between Team Nightmare and the other side of Euphoria was pretty close at points, right? It was still a 3-0 and another 3-0, but I think that bodes well for today, Jake. We've got 2 more matches for you guys. We have a lower bracket finals and then that upper bracket final matchup. Jake, good to be here with you, man. What are you looking forward to today?
I mean, I think obviously the match of the day that everyone's going to be looking forward to is seeing Nightmare and NRG clash, because both teams had a huge performance in the first round, like big dominant 3-0s, but both played very different styles. So I think a lot of fans are going to be excited to see who comes out on top in that upper bracket. But also, as you said, like the lower bracket could be pretty scrappy, could be pretty competitive. Also I think LG and Euphoria playing different strategies, a lot to be excited about as those teams clash in the lower bracket final. And remember, it doesn't, I mean, 4th place, you don't win a prize, right? So they're playing for real cash right now. 3rd, 4th is a big deal. Team Euphoria, definitely. I mean, they were 2nd in the Marvel Rivals Invitational. They want to keep fighting and stay alive in this tournament. But of course, we are going to send one team home today.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, it's just a matter of time before one of those teams does go down, and we're going to watch that match. That is going to be that really high volatility match that we're going to have in just a bit. But Jake, obviously, throughout yesterday, we did have 2 3-0s. Going into today, now that we have NRG and Nightmare locked in the upper bracket, Euphoria going against LG. Obviously, we could talk about predictions later a little bit, but just 2, maybe just round, maybe give us like a bit of a summary of both of these teams, I suppose. Just like, what do you think so far of both LG and the other side of Euphoria?
I mean, LG, I think, looked a lot more chaotic in their match. Like I didn't see too much by way of like the team ups and their strategy. They were running some strong characters, but they honestly got destroyed by NRG. But before we get any more into that, Dustin, I got to tell the fans about the winter celebration here. It's Jeff's Joyful Jubilation. We've got not only a bunch of new winter skins coming to the shop, but also a new Jeff-centered game mode, which if you hop on, you complete a few challenges in that new game mode, you are going to get a free new Jeff skin. We know you guys love Jeff, so of course we had to put out this special game mode celebrating our cutest shark friend. I'm excited for these winter skins. I really like the Groot one. I kind of want that. Dustin, what are you excited about from the winter celebration?
You stole it from me, man. The Groot skin is pretty goated, honestly. It's just straight up good. Also, the game mode's fun. I gave it a shot this morning. I tried it out a little bit, and I got a little dominated. I was trying to get the ground, paint the ground with my Jeff water. I lost. I lost to the pink team. Unfortunately, did not secure my frost points, but it's fine. We go next. We win next game on Jeff, right, Jake? We get some practice in on the game mode, and we go next, right?
If at first you don't succeed, just Jeff and Jeff again. That character is so wild to see in ranked. People doing these crazy combos with the ultimate, like running my whole team off the map. I'm like, oh my god, he's low-key so scary on Jeff.
Every time. And hey, NRG in the upper bracket, they actually protected Jeff. That's the first time we've seen it all tournament. And speaking about said tournament, Jake, obviously today which is 12:21. We're going to have that lower bracket up first for you guys in just a little bit. That matchup will be between Euphoria and LG, and then later on in the day, we're going to be heading to that upper bracket finals, which is going to be between Nightmare and NRG, which is a really exciting matchup in its own right. So, like you mentioned, Jake, both of these teams in this lower bracket matchup, their tournament life is on the line. If they lose here and now, they are not in the money. So this is for that third place minimum spot.
Yeah, and a lot of cash to be won here, $20,000 in the prize pool. I mean, that's a lot for just a weekend tournament. These players, I think, are all excited to try to have a chance here at that first place, the champion prize, 10 grand, potentially going to the winner. So everyone has their eyes on that, especially, I think, after the 3-0 starts of the tournament. NRG and Nightmare, they've got to be considered the favorites. I think everyone is looking forward to that clash later today. But also, I think there's a real opportunity for teams like Euphoria and LG to maybe bounce back. I mean, this is an opportunity. You've had a chance to review what the top teams have played, you know, what strategies, what tactics they were using. And now maybe you can implement a new ban strategy. You can, you know, change your own tactics, change your own approach. Now that you have the opportunity to adjust. And so I think Euphoria versus LG, it'll be interesting to see who's put that work in overnight to come back a stronger team and to potentially progress and stay alive in this tournament. Even, you know, if you lose now, right, you're out. But if you win that lower bracket, at least you're guaranteed top 3. You've got that $3,000 prize secured and potentially more if you can stay alive in the tournament.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a tune-up game for both teams. Not only is their tournament life on the line, but they also, like you mentioned, will be able to figure out those sort of kinks in their armor and sort of get everything kind of ready to go for the next matchup. And, you know, obviously today in just a little bit, we're going to be playing or watching this match in about 7 minutes when it starts. But Jake, yesterday, you know, we've talked previously, obviously this is the very first time that Marvel Rivals is going to be fully live with tournaments, right? We're finally out. The game is released. We've covered both the War of the Realms, or we covered the War of the Realms earlier, Jake, me and you. And now that the game's fully released, I just kind of want your take on the meta so far. From what you've seen, maybe some adjustments we could talk about later, but what are your takes on the overall meta of the game, where kind of the best heroes are?
I mean, from what I've seen so far, I think there's a couple characters that kind of break the mold, right? Like right now, my first thought is like Hela is just so strong. You kind of just want to make her work in a lot of these comps. If you don't see her banned first, you know, probably going to see that character get protected and then played by both teams. Nightmare, though, has been a team that has just always banned Hela first, and that's led to, I think, the second layer of really important strategy right now in the game, which is the team-ups. We've seen Nightmare has really leveraged this Adam Warlock, Mantis, and Star-Lord team up, getting those multiple reses, and they've really pushed the bounds in terms of the innovative plays they make. Sometimes they send in Super Gomez on the Star-Lord, and he just like kind of takes a ton of attention, dies, and then plans to kind of stay behind, res himself, and keep fighting from there. So they really are like making the most of these team ups and really leveraging them. We also see Rymazing playing the Iron Man team up with Hulk and Doctor Strange, and Nightmare has looked like, for me, the most impressive team from a strategic perspective in that they really understand these team ups. They're really getting the most mileage out of them. And I think that's something for people playing at home, playing with their friends, you really want to be thinking about is like, can we leverage those team ups? And looking ahead to the Marvel Rivals Championship next week and on, you know, that's something that people can qualify for just by playing in the game client. So if whether you've qualified, you're going to compete in that, or just mark your calendar so you can be back here next week and the week after to watch the tournament, see what the best players who qualified from the online play have to show. I think there's still a lot more to see in the game, especially with all these new heroes coming on. I think there's a lot of strategies that maybe we haven't even discovered yet at this level.
No, yeah. I mean, just before the broadcast, I know we were talking about even potentially Wolverine being in some of these compositions. We know we haven't seen him so far too much. Actually, we did see him a little bit yesterday, right, in the NRG matchup with LG. But, you know, at that point, NRG was obviously pretty far ahead in the series. And, you know, that character does pretty well so far on the ladder, just for the few characters that do main it. So, you know, there's a lot of different things, like you said, that can be played. And, you know, that's the strength of Nightmare. I know we'll probably talk about that more later, but it does seem like at the moment, Nightmare has an answer for a lot, Jake. I mean, with this protect ban system, with 2 bans and a protect, you know, it does seem like you have to be a team that's flexible, right? I mean, you can't just hard one-trick a hero. Obviously, you know, like you mentioned with Hela being first banned a lot of the times, if you're just a Hela player, sorry, you know, there's not another character you could play. You're kind of SOL a little bit, right? It's a tough situation to be in.
Yeah, I think teams at this level, when you get to Diamond in the ranked games, you start to see the hero bans as well there, but also, of course, in the tournament play, we've got the same rule set. So really important for these top teams to have a deep strategy book. Like you can't just have this one strategy that you're for sure going to use. You've got to have options, backups, adjustments. And that flexibility, I think, is going to be really the test for teams at this level, since you've got to show what you've brought to play with on these live matches. The other teams are going to have an opportunity to watch you, to see what you rely on, and potentially ban those characters out or craft a strategy especially to deal with you. So especially as we get deeper into this tournament and we look ahead to that Marvel Rivals Championship in the next weeks and beyond, I think that's really going to be the test of a lot of the top teams is, do you have the depth to keep innovating and to keep pace? And that's going to be a challenge not only for players but coaches and staff as we get going with Marvel Rivals now that the game is fully released, available, free to play for everybody. So definitely something I think is a perfect time to hop on right now in this exciting new phase of the game. This discovery phase, I think, is one of the most exciting times to be playing a hero shooter.
100%. And I like how you also pointed out that, the game just came out and a lot of people may be hopping onto this game for the first time, first time playing a hero shooter, first time playing Marvel Rivals. Maybe they're a Marvel fan, maybe they're a hero shooter fan. Everybody's kind of coming together and trying the game for the first time. And, I think the biggest thing is a lot of people playing shouldn't be too discouraged, right? If you feel like you're playing the game and there's a really good Hella player in another team and, it's been a tough match, always just go next, right? It does seem like you can constantly improve. You can get better. It's always a long-term thing, right? When you play a new game and you're trying to get better for the first time, you can always watch. You're kind of a step ahead if you're watching, the professional scene, like a lot of people in chat are right now. So, don't feel too discouraged if you are kind of struggling at times in ranked or in regular matches. You're surely going to get better. And most of the time, Jake, I mean, we both can attest to this. The players that are good at the game at the very beginning usually aren't the best players in, a year or two down the line, right? It's usually some young gun trying, the game out for the first time when he's very young and then, coming into his own later on. So, for a lot of people trying out the game, when they're still young and new to the game, I'm sure you'll improve and get better. So, generally today, Jake, too, just to kind of refocus back on the match for Euphoria and NRG, you mentioned how both these teams need some flexibility. Yesterday, we saw NRG actually do that. They had a ton of flexibility, whereas on the other side, I think for Euphoria, they had a little bit going on that map number 3, although there was some technical difficulties. For Euphoria specifically, since you watched them, what are their strengths going into this match, you think, Jake, versus LG?
I mean, I do think Euphoria is a team that could be comfortable in an environment where Hella is banned, right? Like, it was always Nightmare banning the Hella in that series, but I do think in going up against LG, you might want to keep the focus on teamwork, because I do think as much as Euphoria, they lost that match, they were still pretty competitive at times and still had, solid team comps, great use of team ups, and where LG, I think, was relying more on like individual comfort, playing what they feel the best at. That, the upside of that strategy, yes, is you're comfortable, you're on heroes you're experienced on, but the downside is, you're vulnerable to some of these characters getting banned out. And for me, I think in the end, at this level of play with the organization involved, you really do need to be relying on team synergy, strategy, and team ups. And that was something that Euphoria was running. I mean, Nightmare was just a little bit better than them, but I do think you shouldn't discount Euphoria as a serious threat in this tournament. And honestly, I think LG is going to be the underdog in this match. When it comes to the team comps and the strategy, I liked a lot what I was seeing from Team Euphoria, where LG, I'm a little bit more worried for them in this high level of competition.
Right. And, at points, I think LG did look solid. Like they had moments where, a lot of the players did play very well with Void, and then also J3 obviously playing very well in the Hella. He was a standout player, I think, from their match, and hopefully, they can sort of figure out the compositions, play around him a little bit better maybe, and secure him those kills. Obviously it's going to be tough though, right? Because like you mentioned, with Hella being banned, with some of these harder carry characters being banned, it's always difficult to maybe change your composition, right? To be able to change what heroes you can play, right? Because for, say you ban Hella, right? And then you want to play Psylocke, that's a very huge difference in playstyle, no? Right? Like playing a sniping character, playing a character that sits at the back of the map compared to a sort of assassin. I mean, what can you say? Like, you're a veteran player, a veteran pro player in various esport titles, Jake. For when you have to change heroes that play totally different, what's the mentality that you sort of have as that flex player that can play, an assassin and then go to a sniper the very next map?
I mean, I think what it takes is really a deeper strategic understanding of the game. You know, like when you play one individual character, you play it a lot, you just get a feel for, you know, where you should be at certain moments, how you should take a certain engagement, and you can kind of rely on that level of comfort. But when you really are going to change things up, your team's going to run a completely different strategy, you need to be playing in a totally different way. The players that succeed at that are the players who are really thinking critically about different ways you can get value in the match, right? If you're playing Hela, it really is all about the damage, all about finding those pickoffs. But some of these flankers, you know, it goes beyond just the kills you can get, the damage you can deal. Sometimes being a distraction, putting pressure on the objective, these things can be more important at moments than the actual kills or raw damage stat you provide. So I think kind of seeing the game beyond just a pure focus on statistics, understanding concepts like team play, how to get the most out of all of your abilities, for me, that's really the difference maker in a hero shooter. So I think for a lot of players at home who are like, you know, wanting to play their favorite character from Marvel and thinking, oh, is this not the meta, or like the pro players aren't doing this, I really think that like pretty much anything can work, especially if you just have the motivation to think differently and like kind of take a different perspective on how you could approach the match. Like some of these super high mobility flankers, yes, of course, you're not going to deal the same damage stat as a Punisher or a Hela or just these, you know, like front to back spamming DPS characters. But sometimes just getting that like one burst kill on a support is way more important than the Hela putting in tons and tons of damage into a tank that is just getting healed up anyway. So I think it really takes that ability to see the match, see the fuller picture of the match, rather than being so focused on just one aspect of your role, like getting good stats or having a good kill death ratio. In the end, in hero shooters, there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, and for Euphoria, I know that speaking about these teams, you know, sort of being ready to go for these matchups and understanding that the game at a very high level, you know, they have been playing for a few months, right? They've been playing in the previous play tests. You know, the game did just come out, but obviously as Marvel Rivals has been sort of making a name for itself, you know, there's been tournaments, there's been matches being played, you know, all the while. So, you know, these guys are definitely ready to go in terms of just preparation for the matches today. And obviously I know that, you know, when you're in a pro team, like you mentioned, Jake, a lot of preparation goes into this behind the scenes, a lot of VOD review, a lot of practice with other top teams. And I know that, at least for Nightmare, I know I talked to those guys quite a bit. When I was talking to Ryan Amazing, I know he said that they're practicing quite a bit with a lot of top teams. And at the moment, there's not a lot of teams really, or not really giving them a pushing, you know, like a push against them, right? Euphoria is one of those teams. Euphoria is one of those top teams who have been kind of pushing back against Nightmare, who have been a top team. You know, it was at 3-0 yesterday, but obviously if they can get the match against LG, that bodes well for them. Meanwhile, you know, for LG, this I think is going to be a learning experience, right? I mean, just along the all across the board, LG have some very talented players as well. And I think they probably could put it together if they figure out maybe everybody's mains, what they're best at, and you know, get really ready for this matchup against Euphoria, who have, you know, a really good Star-Lord player. I know that yesterday, just to call out one specific hero, I think that Star-Lord had some amazing moments, right? I mean, yesterday we saw Super Gomez and Light go back and forth, but that character seems to be really impactful, Jake, and I don't know how much that, you know, the casual viewer has seen that character. You know, Star-Lord, it seems like in the casual scene, it hasn't really just like hit the meta just yet. Can you maybe explain like why that is, why Star-Lord has been such a strong character, why, you know, with Adam Warlock, I think you touched on a little bit earlier with the resurrects and stuff, but I mean, I'll let you kind of ramble about Star-Lord if you want to.
Yeah, no, I really agree. I think Star-Lord's been a character that I wouldn't expect to see dominate in a ranked environment. You know, even if the game continues to like grow for a while, you know, it's the type of character that really thrives in a competitive environment. Like number one, you're enabling this big res team up that's so valuable that really, you know, this character sometimes risky. You could get picked off, you could get punished, but of course with the res online, it's just so much less of a concern. But beyond that, I think, you know, if you have that great mechanics on Star-Lord, great understanding of timings, your mobility and, you know, incredible damage threat, it's like there's no other character I think that really provides the same level of that, of both things, right? That Star-Lord can at once be diving in, jumping on backliners, trying to punish them, but also has pretty impressive damage just fighting the tanks, you know, pushing straight forward front to back. So I think that diversity and the different options you have, it can be overwhelming maybe for a new player, but for these advanced players who are really getting the most of like at times playing with the team, playing slow and safe, and then at other moments like taking big risks and going for those big plays, if you make the right decisions about those timings, about when to hit the back line, when they're distracted, when you have follow-up coming in, Star-Lord, I think, really becomes this monster on the server. We saw it from Super Gomez in particular in that Nightmare Euphoria match. Tons and tons of these huge clutch moments with the Legendary ultimate, being able to clean up backlines. Like, you know, if they don't have a support ultimate online, Legendary looks to me like one of the best ultimates in the game. You know, not only are you so mobile on Star-Lord, you can get past those tank lines, not need to get through a tank shield, and just start cutting up the enemy DPS and the enemy strategists, and like really taking down the legs from under the enemy team's composition. And so I think Star-Lord probably going to be still a fixture in the meta. To be honest, when it comes to playing against Nightmare, I wouldn't be surprised if people start first banning Star-Lord. I think they look like the best team in the tournament for all the ways that they employ the character and how individually strong Super Gomez is on it. Their ability with the team up, like, you could mirror the team up, but Nightmare looks way too good at using it. Honestly, if I were playing against Nightmare, I would probably be trying to target maybe banning Star-Lord or banning like the Adam Warlock to, you know, take out the team up somewhere else. Certainly something I'd have to be thinking about when I'm going against this team. Euphoria maybe won't want to. Maybe they also feel confident in the Star-Lord team up. But for LG's perspective, like, if they're not going to use that, I really think they may need to target ban out either Star-Lord or something in the team up, because I think even though Euphoria lost 3-0, they still had moments where they fought really well. Nightmare clutched some incredible team fights to, you know, be able to win that match 3-0. But I think Euphoria is also going to be a big threat when it comes to the Star-Lord team up, and that's something LG needs to be prepared for, needs to study for. As good as they are as individuals, you know, at this level of play, the team play, the strategy tends to be more important and tends to be more significant in terms of getting that win or loss.
Right. And, you know, I think one thing that LG did do well is sort of experiment, right? I mean, yesterday, at least on Domination, they were able to change up their composition to play that triple duelist comp, right? I mean, that was definitely, it was viable to a degree, you know, and a lot of times I'm sure a lot of people play their games and just like, oh, great, we got triple duelist, you know, it's going to be a tough game. But you can kind of pop off if you take those off angles, right, Jake? I mean, you can sort of surround a team that's running a typical 2-2-2 composition if you just have 3 duelists constantly taking angles, right?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, that like a lot of it just, you know, it's not just that the comp either works or doesn't work. It's about how you approach the game, right? Like how you think about the game. You know, if you're going to run triple duelist, you got to accept that your tank won't necessarily be able to like push through the front line and trade against 2 tanks. Probably not going to go well for them. But if you know, surrounding the enemy team, playing around something like mobility, you get a pick off somewhere in the back line, and that really turns the tables, right? Like if those 2 tanks, if they lose one of their strategists, they don't have the heals to sustain, the triple DPS can start to like cut you to pieces and really take over the lobby. I think it is a little bit more challenging maybe, and it does require people to play with a little bit more self-sufficiency, an awareness of health packs, and, you know, where their teammates are when people are ready to fight. But with that level of coordination that I expect, you know, we can expect to see at this level of play, I think it's absolutely possible that some unconventional strategies, whether it's triple duelist, triple strategist, you know, there's just different approaches to the game that can work. And in Marvel Rivals with no role lock, there really aren't too many limits. You know, I wouldn't play like a 6 duelist comp, but really beyond like the super extreme crazy strategies, I think for the most part there's a lot of variation beyond the core 2-2-2 that can still be strong and really effective, to be honest, especially in ranked. Like if you're playing ranked, I would not worry too much about the team comp until you get to the higher levels of rank where people are really pushing the limits. Instead of worrying about the team comp and what your teammates are doing, try to just do your best to like read the game, see the situation holistically, and make the best choices you can. Like maybe you won't be able to play the way that you're used to playing with a 2-2-2 setup, but that doesn't mean you don't have a road to victory. It just might be a little bit more complicated to find.
Yeah, I mean, I saw on X, I saw people even won a game on full Vanguard, right? It's definitely possible to have 6 Vanguards and still get a win, you know, as long as you can, like you mentioned, play, you know, to the highest level you can. And, you know, obviously, Jake, we have a little bit before the matches are going to start. I think the players are still getting ready for obviously this matchup. But for LG, you know, it's going to be an interesting matchup versus Euphoria. Obviously, versus NRG yesterday, NRG kind of, you know, swept them, right? They just straight up swept them. Now going into today, now you've had some time to maybe mentally reset from a loss. Do you think they could bounce back? I know it's a tough ask, and, you know, this is a bit of a hard question, but for LG, I know you've kind of talked about their routes to victory. They're kind of what they could do. But going into today, if there is one player, right, if you do want to play around your Hela player, what should you do to support, like, J3 if he does play the Hela, if he is able to play those you know, hyper carry characters? How do you play around this compositionally or just as a team?
You know, I think that's going to be the big question for LG is like their strategic approach. You know, like they have strong individuals, as it looks like we're going to be able to jump into the ban phase and start to see, I guess, how they're going to approach this strategy. Is LG opening with the Strange ban. I mean, Strange has been a super dominant S tier hero, but the instant response from Euphoria is the Hela ban. I think this makes total sense for them. They're a team that has looked great when it comes to team synergy, team strategy, and I think LG is going to be way more reliant on the individual carry potential of something like a Hela. So I'm interested to see how J3 responds to this Hela ban. What he elects to protect right now is really potentially going to signal a lot about their goals, their strategy for this match.
Yeah, we'll see in a second what they pick, and it's the Psylocke. I was actually, I was thinking they were gonna that Euphoria would ban that, right? Because Psylocke is another hyper carry similar to Hela, right, Jake?
Yeah, definitely. I think Hela is a little bit more straightforward to execute since she kind of just holds down the back line and, you know, has a lot of stability with, you know, her escapes and the stuns, like pretty hard to dive her and punish her. She can make a lot more of those solo plays. I do think Psylocke is maybe a little bit more, I wouldn't say easy to deal with, but with the team coordination that Euphoria have shown, I think Psylocke can just as easily be a liability, you know, if she's getting punished in the back line. And it will be as well a Luna Snow and Hawkeye ban to close out. Luna Snow ban makes a lot of sense, I think, for Euphoria. This strat that they're loading up on now is pretty much what they've been running to great success previously, you know, running that Mantis, Star-Lord, Adam Warlock team up. This is their bread and butter. And the fact that LG didn't ban it, if they don't use it themselves, I'm open to be proven wrong. Maybe this Psylocke can change things up, but honestly, what I'm worried about is even if Psylocke gets into the back line and, you know, gets that pick off that she's looking for, these resurrects are going to make Psylocke's job really tough. You know, like there's a lot of, you got to get a lot of kills back to back to back to actually close out a team fight and get a win here.
See if they opt to change the composition. Obviously, they have time before they walk out of spawn, but like you mentioned, they may be trying to play around like more individual play for sure. You know, like you said, Jake, though, we've seen in the War of the Relevant tournament that, you know, you have to play around team ups. It's definitely something that is a must at the highest level. And for an organization like LG, you know, these guys, it's a very storied organization. They have plenty of years. I believe you even played for them at one point, Jake.
Yeah, yeah.
I played on competing.
I played on an LG team for another game, but right now, I'm worried about LG's comp. I'm not really seeing so much team-up synergy, and Euphoria playing really aggressive over the spawn, potentially looking to get a fight. I'm not sure LG's ready for this.
No, J3 dashes up top, not expecting Light to be there. Have to back up to his healers, which he does so successfully. Meanwhile, ult charge being built by both Iron Man and that Star-Lord, whereas Adios is kind of sitting above the point with that Gamma ray over the top, breaking all the destructible, too. Incredibly, it's just smart to set up their defensive hold.
Yeah, there's really no one to deal with this Iron Man. Adios is kind of feasting here. J3 does come in, but gets shut down. The support's playing together, ready to peel, and the Psylocke just went in all alone. So LG not looking too coordinated right now as Adios is just cutting them apart from the sky.
Yeah, it's that Gamma team up with Hulk. I mean, that's just so much damage coming through from Adios once he presses E. I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting how much damage that character could do. He's already close to that ultimate, too.
Yeah, Iron Man, I think, is such a threat on this map where the high ground choke is so important. Being able to constantly pressure down from above. And LG is going to swap over to the Star-Lord, so maybe having a little bit more balance in the comp, a little bit more vertical mobility. But J3 is struggling to get too much done on the Psylocke Void, respawning on the Cloak and Dagger. Definitely want to get a solid regroup here, pushing forward into Adios.
Adios ready to go with this ultimate as well. Sitting above, can kill through support ultimates if he really wants to, but doesn't even need to. The follow-up is there from Adios, or from Light, who pops his own legendary ultimate. Nice jump to slow down the Iron Man for a little bit on the Penny Parker, but it's not enough to really stop this aggression from Euphoria, as they've already killed two. Maybe LG can regroup at the moment. They're sitting back right now. J3 try to go aggressive. Unfortunately, did not have any follow-up in this instance, and also, I believe, committed the ultimate, so it's a tough spot to be in and lose your ultimate charge on Psylocke nearly halfway, 2 minutes off the clock for Euphoria, and they want more. They're going towards the spawn of LG, just melting everybody on Iron Man, on Hulk, and basically everybody else here. Nice shot. 2K with one pulse cannon from Adios.
And this is starting to get ugly, frankly, Dustin. I mean, LG are getting worked here. Euphoria looks really strong, really confident, still holding onto a big bank of ultimates, ready for anything in these fights. And LG makes the swap to the Punisher. It's just nothing is really coming together for them. These pushes look really scrappy, really chaotic. And in contrast, Euphoria is as sharp as ever. The team play is right on point. Really no one stopping Adios right now, and he's getting the most done.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really tough for sure. This guy has been so good on Iron Man, and now you're seeing why. You know, Euphoria yesterday versus Nightmare, it was a little bit of a tough game because both teams are extremely good. They're at the top of their level right now, and Euphoria is showing why that they're also another dominant team, that it's going to be tough to beat. And for LG, now they have less than a minute basically left. Have they? I think they've killed like one person maybe with J3 or somebody, but it's been pretty much Euphoria one-sided the whole time.
Yeah, and pushing into this, all 6 ultimates for Euphoria. They've got everything they need. Maybe LG can find something. Maybe this Punisher ult could make the difference. But Zelos is holding on to that mass res. There's just so many layers to get through for Euphoria. Very early support ult, very defensive, and Maximum Pulse still online.
And there it goes. 2 dead immediately to the Maximum Pulse. We've seen it on this map on Shin Shibuya so many times. Iron Man, pretty much his map on first point. Far cheap as well into Void. Not going to be able to live. And that's so smart, too, from Adios Jake. He held up the entire time knowing Mantis was ready to go.
Yeah, it's such a powerful combo to just deal with support ultimates when the enemy's expecting to be unkillable, that they can just walk in. Well, they're totally vulnerable and exposed to the Maximum Pulse, and that's really been the problem here for LG, is they just don't have the character that can contest Iron Man in the sky. The supports are way too ready for Euphoria, keeping Adios alive, and he's just constantly dominating the top of the gate here. And I mean, he's just basically server admin right now. He's running the table from this high ground.
I like that. I like his server admin. Even shuts down J3's Legendary. We talked about how good that ultimate is. Doesn't even matter when you're against a base form Iron Man with the team up from the Hulk. And at this point, you know, LG does touch the point. They have some tanks and supports here. However, you know, it's a little bit too little too late. As they say, Euphoria didn't even give up a tick, Jake. That was a great performance from the squad all around.
Yeah, just really clean stuff from Euphoria. And I like the patience there, you know, not overextending, not over pushing, just locking in a full hold. And to be honest, this is a rough start for LG. They're going to really need a radical shift to bring this series back. And this map may just be all over. I mean, there's so many opportunities here for Euphoria. They've got 4 minutes and they only need to cap a single tick. So this is going to be a really rough test for LG. Maybe this Penny Parker can be a little bit more effective on defense, but Euphoria just looks so solid right now as a unit. I think they're just playing on a much higher level.
Yeah, Euphoria, a team that is storied so far, the Marvel Rivals young scene. They've progressively gotten better throughout, you know, the past few months. And obviously today, on full release of the game, they're looking really, really good in the Invitational, which is definitely a huge game, huge comeback game, Jake, comparing it to yesterday.
Yeah.
Which, you know, Nightmare played so well against them.
Yeah, you know, I think if you were just looking at that last match yesterday, you might have thought, oh man, like maybe Euphoria aren't so good. Nightmare had a really solid performance against them. But I mean, if anything, the way this performance is opening up just shows how potentially scary this Euphoria squad can be. And also the level Nightmare is on to be able to win 3-0 against Euphoria. I mean, there are levels to it. And sometimes here, like when the game is new, fresh off release, there's just a really big difference between the top teams who are putting that work in and just having like a really solid strategy with everyone understanding their role, and squads like LG that I think are relying more on individual performance. I mean, that's the nature of hero shooters. Team play is just always going to be so critical. As to see how Euphoria elect to take this offense.
The people try to put down one of those cheesy Penny Parker mines in the left door, but Euphoria just walked around. Now on the left side, Audio sneaks into the back, goes through with the beam, the Gamma beam onto Modell. Rest in peace, Void also falls immediately. This Iron Man just getting so much value, using the entirety of that cooldown. Reloads, tracks down yet again another one. That's 3 kills for Audios, pretty much by themselves. Able to go in halfway to ultimate, but doesn't even need it, considering they only had 1 tick to grab. They're going to be LG on map number 1 in this first 3.
Euphoria just, I mean, running the table, world record speed run. What more can we say? I mean, you just can't ask for a better performance out of Euphoria in map 1. And for LG, that has got to be crushing, right? They lost yesterday. It was really dominant for NRG. And this is, if anything, even more dominant for Euphoria, for one of our top teams in the scene. I mean, take a look at these stats, Dustin. These are pretty rough. Audios and Light really put that work in.
Yeah, I mean, they were super good. The whole roster is really good. The healers as well. Obviously, we didn't get to showcase any of their skill too much, but 0 deaths definitely speaks to.
I mean, this is a flawless game.
Yeah,
actually, a flawless game.
I think it's the first flawless game I think we've seen, Jake. I mean, not a single death is crazy.
Yeah, that's just out of control right now.
Well, you know, on the other side for Void, you know, I think that he's definitely a standout support player. I think so far we've not seen a lot of Cloak and Dagger players really pop off like he has. You know, obviously we got to look for some sort of bright spot there. And I think Void specifically, doing the best you can on the support, right? Constantly trying to keep his team alive.
I did see that 93% accuracy on Void support, which was pretty wild to me. I don't know if I've seen accuracy stats that high.
Well, the character doesn't have to aim, so it's
I guess that's true.
You get you just get easy heals on everybody, get some easy damage off. I think people love Cloak and Dagger. I've seen so much Cloak and Dagger representation in rank.
Yeah, I see them do pretty well in ranked. I see a lot of people playing them, and I don't mind playing with them. I think at this level, it's less about the individual potential of Cloak and Dagger and more about the team ups when I'm thinking about strategy. I mean, the power of the self reses and the gamma combo with Iron Man. Like for me, these are the real significant factors in terms of the team ups, in terms of like the strategy, more so than just like the individual healing power and playmaking from Cloak and Dagger. I think is pretty effective, but when you're going up against Euphoria and they're just getting the most out of all these team ups, I mean, we saw that Iron Man, like you said, that whole gamma cooldown being just poured into the backline. Really impressive stuff from Euphoria.
Yeah, and let's take a look at that match from Euphoria in terms of the highlights. Let's go check those out and see how they did versus LG in that flawless match.
누워진 밤하늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작해야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸는 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 최선을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 세계 운명 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 어떤 나라 탑을 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모르나 널 지킬 나란 걸 더 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸는 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 최선을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내가 주어진 운명 Oh yeah, oh yeah. 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게. 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야. 운명의 소리 들려. 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와. 시작해야 let's go. 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸는 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야. 좀 더 기다려. I'll be there. 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해. 어딜 가든지 극복해. 힘은 너에게 있는 걸. 소리 높여 노래를 불러. 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 처음에 쳐봐. 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Marvel Rivals Invitational. My name is Dustin, joined by Jake. Today, we're in day number 2 of the tournament so far in this loser bracket semifinals. At the moment, Euphoria is up 1 in the series in this best out of 5. First to 3 maps wins. So, you know, there is still some time for LG to figure things out so far, Jake. But an undefeated, you know, obviously no deathless first map. That's pretty good going forward for Euphoria.
Yeah, that has to hurt for LG. I mean, their strategy just got absolutely trounced. Frankly, you can't see a less competitive map than that in Marvel Rivals. And Euphoria showing that there's just levels to this right now. Like, their strategy is on such a point. You know, they're even their execution in the team fights. Like, look at that offense where, you know, like multiple players slip in the flank and then they just fully surround the high ground, clear it off, make it look so easy. And in contrast, LG never could clear that high ground. I mean, they didn't even really get to step on the point on their offense, much less like take strong positions or have a real chance in any of these team fights. And so honestly, I think Euphoria potentially just wants to make a real show of strength here and just continue to dominate the series. They need to build a little bit more confidence back because remember, they lost 3-0 to Nightmare. They need to be licking their wounds and like prepping for a potential run from the lower bracket, but they're facing elimination. So you really can't give any quarter to LG. You want to make this, if you're Team Euphoria, a dominant 3-0, making a statement and potentially still having a chance to make a comeback through the lower bracket and have another shot at Nightmare somewhere in the uppers.
Yeah, and it depends on maybe what maps they get to play too, because obviously, you know, every map plays slightly differently. Even going from Convergence to Convoy, right? Even having to capture that first point can change a lot of things. Obviously, as we saw in Shibuya, you know, you've got that choke point with all of that destructible cover, and you know, like you mentioned, they had that their duelist flank in there, get in there without even having to spam at the choke point, and just were so clean with their engage. And you know, maybe talking from experience, Jake, when we talk about, you know, map types, if you even want to talk maybe to reflect on Convergence specifically, what do you think about in terms of like strategy on those maps? When you go into VOD review, is there different approaches that you try to do, or is it always the same thing, you know, just 1, 2, 3, go in, follow the same kind of steps, or do you want different sort of game plans if you just have to take a point, like a stationary objective?
I think it's really all about the ability to analyze the situation from moment to moment and just look at the map geometry. We are going to go to the symbiotic surface convergence map. So once again, it's going to be, you know, the nature of these convergent maps, as I've seen so far in Marvel Rivals, that this first point defense is a huge strong point. You know, if you get to make a solid hold on first point, you can potentially hit a full hold or even just deny the capture, you know, get a ton of time off the clock. That's really what you want to accomplish on these defenses, because that first point, you know, you have not only the initial defense, but typically these top teams, they have the opportunity to get back in, you know, try to make an attempt at a clutch team fight to be able to still hold on to that point. So attackers have to be really smart in their approach, really tactical. And when fights go bad, you got to take a really solid reset. This time, it looks like it's going to be a Hulk ban for LG, protecting the Penny Parker. Very surprising to see a Penny Parker protect. I don't know that was going to get banned, but it does get banned here.
Yeah.
Or rather, it does get protected, rather. And then the Psylocke is able to be banned out. So both Hela and Psylocke banned out. Curious to see what LG come out with now.
Yeah, obviously you see, like you mentioned, Euphoria is very, very prepared, very ready for this, considering, you know, they banned the Hela, they banned Psylocke, 2 heroes that we know LG plays. But on the other side, you know, for LG, like you mentioned, they do protect the Penny Parker. But the interesting one is the Hawkeye too. Like, obviously the Hulk was a very, very nice ban to you know, make sure Euphoria can't play that Iron Man combination. But, you know, Hawkeye, I don't think we've really been played for Euphoria. I know it's a very good character right now, but Euphoria, I don't believe really even plays the Hawkeye very much.
Yeah, Hawkeye's been strong and ranked, and I think is really effective in a front-to-back style. But in contrast to Hella, I think is much easier to jump on top of and dive. And I mean, watching Light here is really nice to see on this Spider-Man. Really clean in the execution. Got the Venom team up. I think is actually kind of underrated in terms of the power that this dive combo has. I'm expecting Team Euphoria to be really aggressive on this defense, and I like this from Light. You know, using this sneaky third-person peek, being able to scout the offense, see what comp comes out. He's going to be able to call the dive, and I think Euphoria has the opportunity to get really aggressive here. Despite being on defense, J3 on the Black Widow is going to be in a world of hurt.
God. You know, they're going to have some fun with it. We'll see how, you know, hard this will be to deal with this dive. Here comes the Venom first onto J3 immediately. Gets everybody with an AoE, but nice stun. However, it doesn't really matter. The damage came through from Clone Man and also the Spider-Man on the backside. So Clone Man is able to get all of this value on Venom so far. Run up the wall, go back through front of the dive, and here comes Spider-Man over the top too. Very clean combination from Light and Clone Man and the rest of Euphoria.
Yeah, that was a nice, great example of how to execute dive comps in Marvel Rivals from Euphoria. You know, that's something that a lot of people maybe playing ranked haven't seen as much of. Maybe there was a lot more of that front-to-back poking playstyle. But at this level of play with a bit of coordination, I like how Clone Man on the Venom, he comes in first. He takes a ton of attention on the Venom, slows down those enemies, and then it's the follow-up from Light and Adios, able to put some pressure. Light gets found out, but just slips away with his life. Great execution on the Spider-Man. Still, though, that denies the setup for Euphoria. They might have to back up just a little bit here.
Yeah, Zello still going for spam. Clone Man actually going back for another dive, as is the rest of Team Euphoria. Adios trying to get a lot of damage through with the Star-Lord. Clone Man will be taken out, however. So that is a pretty eventful trade for LG if they could stabilize. Void's very low, so is Sykes, but you still have some damage coming through from Light and Adios. Going back through onto Funk, who's trying to get some extra damage in there. Cannot live, unfortunately. And now you're just getting punched in the face by Spider-Man. He's going to be able to just kind of run around, avoid all of that damage, and really just kind of annoy LG, who is trying to just regroup and heal up. J3 able to get Adios at the very least. That's one kill in favor of LG, who are now ulting with that Luna Snow. But once that runs out, it's going to be really hard to live. Adios resurrects. He's back in the fight. Finds J3 with some help. And everybody else is still here for Euphoria. Really nobody else went down besides that Star-Lord, who has that resurrect in that team up with Adam Warlock, and Euphoria still in control with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, and this Venom Spider-Man team up really is paying dividends. On top of that, still leveraging the Adam Warlock to team up that we've seen so much of with the multi-reses. Even though Adios went down, he's back in the team fight, still able to play aggressive. J3 on the Winter Soldier, look at him. He's got to be so worried about these dives, but there's so many angles to clear.
Yeah, Spark Chief, luckily the one dove on, but Spark Chief backs on out. J3 able to get the kill through the shield. Nice job with the Armed Dangerous. Gets everybody low, however, can't find that reset with the kill onto the Mantis. She's ulting. They come back through, kill J3, so they even it up. Also, the resurrect from Zealous brought Spark Chief back into the fight, which was huge. And now Spark Chief is able to get more value, more damage downrange, has his ultimate ready to go if he wants it. But they force a Mantis assault without any ultimates on their side. So now Euphoria in a pretty great spot, just kind of getting to play this neutral fight.
Yeah, LG throwing some good money after bad with the ult, narrowly dodging the ultimate. The Namor whale is Adios. Now Clone Man charging for it. A huge Venom ult, catches absolutely everyone.
I don't think I've seen that ult get a kill, but it finally killed J3, who was low HP there. Venom coming through the ground and just eating everybody, and now it's a reset yet again for LG.
Yeah, and LG, I mean, they're just constantly swapping heroes, you know, playing a lot of different stuff, definitely not having the same cohesiveness of strategy that Euphoria have shown, and not really leveraging nearly as many team-ups. They've got the Namor Luna Snow team-up, which I think is decent, but it's not matching what Euphoria are bringing to the table, playing with so much threat. And I love this from Euphoria, having the patience, letting LG walk forward into a kill zone. Light could go right now, but he's waiting patiently.
Waiting patiently indeed. They force Luna Snow ultimate. Can they catch out Funk before he can get close to that Luna Snow? They do. They forget about him in the back. Poor Funk. Left behind by his Luna Snow in that instance, but now they try to rush towards that point. 20 seconds left. They just want to try to get a tick. Unfortunately, there's some members of Euphoria just to make sure they don't even get a single tick on the objective. Light is running around. Meanwhile, Legendary from Adios forcing and separating away from everybody from LG. And with 6 seconds left, they just have the Venom on the point. After Sykes runs out of the ultimate, he's going to have no more sustain and can't even touch the objective. Euphoria will yet again full hold LG.
Oi, 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 Dustin. This is starting to get ugly. LG just finding absolutely no purchase here on the second Convergence map. Another full hold, deja vu for them. And Euphoria, for their part, I think they just want to get this done in one. I mean, just one solid push. Even against Nightmare, they had a great opening fight on this map, nearly snowballing into a first cap. And it was off the back of a Magic. So curious to see if some different compositions come out as right now, Euphoria marking some silly characters, but honestly, I think they can kind of do whatever they want and get away with it. They're playing with so much confidence and poise. It's really starting to look good. LG, for their part, though, are queuing up a triple Vanguard setup, so maybe that, extra tanking capability, making them harder to dive, could make them a stronger force to be reckoned with, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on the supports. I think when you're going up against a triple tank setup, you do want to try to attack those supports first, because those Vanguards, they need a lot of support to stay alive. They really rely on their strategists.
Right, you can't really leave them out to dry. And LG on their side, on the defensive side, maybe We the People, like you mentioned, Penny Parker does do better on defense. And, I'm sure We the People in this case, a lot of Doctor Stranges love to TP back there. So maybe, setting up for that in that instance. But Euphoria, I mean, they might do it. They might put Adios onto Jeff and then have a potential triple support composition, which would be fun.
Nah, they just want to close it out. Looks like J3 is going to go for a portal. They might go for some cheesy dive into the spawn. I'm really curious to see where J3 ends up building this. The game has begun, though. I mean, Euphoria is moving out. Portal
they're scouting. They're scouting.
Ground.
Yeah, just getting some poke in, maybe, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting. It seems like a relatively low value use of such a powerful ability, as We the People is setting up this big kill zone on point. This could be scary to deal with, but Euphoria, they're so smart and tactical. I have a hard time imagining they're going to fall for the minefield.
Yeah, it's all in that sort of, this is in the half of the circle on the point. He's just secured with all of these mines. We'll see if Euphoria managed to deal with it before walking in. Light already going for an early engage, kind of just dashing around. You can't really kill Spider-Man. He never really fully engages, kind of runs around you, harasses you. They already get the Punisher out of the turret for him, which is tough for J3. They come back for the peel on Clowman, who barely lives after staying alive from some nice heals from Euphoria. Spider-Man comes back through. Oh my god, two in one puncher. We the People died twice somehow. That's amazing from Light in that instance. And now he's just kind of chasing out everybody else. Bowman as well with another kill, and that's pretty much it for LG. They're going to try to secure this point, go around Adios with 1v1 flank. That was kind of sick, a Star-Lord duel, but with just J3 on the objective. They're really trying to make sure they secure this top three, Jake. They're going to win this map and put themselves on that point.
Yeah, this series is starting to get out of control. It's beyond starting. This series is firmly out of control. Euphoria took a little bit longer to cap this time, but really not much of a difference.
Did they get a kill, you think?
I think one or two. I think Star-Lord rezzed himself one time.
Yes. So that it was better than the previous map.
They're trending up, but I don't know if the trend is good enough for them, Dustin. I think they're going to need a little bit more than this to get the win. It was fun to see, though, Light on the Spider-Man. Not a character we've seen so much at this level, but really showing and displaying that, despite not having the craziest damage stat, not really focusing on that as a character in Spider-Man, he was so annoying in that backline, taking a ton of attention onto himself. And I think that's why you see that great damage stat on players like Zelos with the Adam Warlock, right? He's kind of being the backline duelist, getting the MVP of the map, and a lot of that comes from the team play that Euphoria showcased, right? Diving into the backlines with Spider-Man and Venom, so much attention on them as they're forcing the enemy team to look at them and try to fight them off, and that's allowing people like Zelos to just free farm. And Adam Warlock, I really think, is that strategist that makes huge impact on the game when they're left to free fire. I mean, look at the damage differential between Zelos and the supports, or the strategist rather, on Team LG. I mean, really cleaning the board.
Yeah, I mean, it is really clean from them indeed. I mean, so far, obviously for Zelos, I mean, in general in Adam Warlocks, it does seem like that character can pump out so much damage. It's not even, I would say, a mini Hela, but at points it feels like Adam Warlock can do as much as Hela, like you mentioned, Jake. And, for LG, they did only get 3 kills, but that's 3 more than you and me, Jake. So, they're not doing that bad. And also, it's tough, right? Like you said, I mean, we're against a support player that's fragging as well as Elos is, and Eris as well. They have such a good support backline. Euphoria is overall a very talented team. For this next map, obviously, we just played 2 Convergences. I don't think we're going to play another one, but you never know. You never know. In this instance, though, Jake, if you go to Domination, maybe do you try that triple DPS composition again? They're obviously trying something out. They put J3 back onto the Doctor Strange, but it was really tough for them to even deal with the dive. And you talked about the versatility of Euphoria again. I wouldn't be surprised if we even saw yet another composition from them.
Yeah, I think, maybe a map change up could help. But to be honest, it's going to be a real deep dig for LG. They're really going to have to, find some individual superstar carry performance. But I mean, from the band perspective, I think honestly, this format makes it really hard to like cheese a win. The power of these bands, the fact that Euphoria are taking Hella off the table constantly means it's really reducing some of that wild variance that LG needs to rely on. They need to rely on a hero pop off, and Euphoria just aren't letting it happen.
No, they're not at the moment. And for Euphoria, it was a really dominant map. So let's take a look at the dominance that they had in a bit of a highlight package and then a short break for that map number 3.
Trapping all those fighting souls, but yet across the world I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon, and I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come fight me. Do you remember who you really are? Show me that you are still the only one for me. I'll be waiting for you. Wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rift splinters again, we are rebels till the end. Rise up, open your minds, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals till the end of time. We will clash, no matter where. We will fight, reaching across time and space. 'Cause you are my destiny to the end. You see the dawn, the flames burning brightly, shining on those memories. And yes, across all time I see you turning the tides. And do you see now our time, our turn? We can still fight like the wind and fire, and wonder no more that now is the only time your heart is mine. Light has fallen, darkness grows, and yes, we fight for our destiny and fate. New days smiling for the past and future. Break those chains, lead the way, fight with me. And when you wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time stopping all those fighting souls, but yet across the world I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon, and I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you really are? Show me.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Marvel Rivals Invitational. My name is Dustin, joined by Jake. We're here on map number 3 between Team Euphoria and LG. Jake, at the moment, Euphoria are up 2 in the series and are looking pretty dominant. Have played different compositions. I mean, what's the last gem they need? What's the last thing they need before they collect all the Infinity Stones at this point?
I mean, right now, the way they're playing it, it looks like they've got them all. They have just run through this series so far. 2 of the fastest maps, I think, all tournament long. You know, Nightmare looked great yesterday. NRG looked solid as well, but these maps have been shutouts. I mean, Euphoria has ran the table on LG. It has not been competitive. At this point, LG need a miracle. This is beyond strategy and tactics. This is, you are in miracle territory if you are LG. On your way out of the tournament, one more map. If you lose this, you're done, and you're going home with no cash in the pocket. That has got to be a gut punch in this tournament with 20 grand on the line.
So you're saying they need some divine intervention, Jake. You know, they need to potentially play a god, right? They need to play Hela. Potentially, she's a goddess.
Maybe
right?
a little Thor, Hela. A couple gods could get involved and make a change here, but we'll see. Maybe the hero ban change up could do something for them. But I have a feeling, Euphoria don't really need to change much here. Just continue banning this Hela out, take away some of that variable pop-off performance, make the game more centered on team play, and in that category, they have just been on another level compared to LG.
Yeah, and I know obviously we want to shine all of the characters, or all of the players as much as we can, but for Team Euphoria, I mean, you mentioned the flexibility before. I believe even in the War of the Realms tournament, Adios was playing Thor. So, even these duelist players can play Vanguard at points, and should be similar to ranked mode in that degree. If we have 3 duelists on the team, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to play some Vanguard. But for Adios, he's a very talented DPS player, could play to a high level some of these Vanguards as well, and I'm sure every player's in that boat too. So for Team Euphoria, they definitely can experiment. Maybe there's even an aspect of, do you want to hide some instance of your composition, right? Do you want to maybe not show some of the things you've been practicing? Is there something maybe there's a Wolverine character we can throw in there later on versus Nightmare, maybe throw it, get some randomness in there potentially versus them later. But like you said, for Team LG, Jake, I mean, they have a lot. They've a long road ahead of them. They got 3 more kills than they did on the first map. Obviously, you're shooting for 6, right? Maybe get 6 kills this map. That'd be huge for LG. And in terms of compositions, it's tough, right? Because what do you do as we move into the pick ban phase when Team Euphoria just takes out your best hero when you have Hela first pick that you would like?
Yeah, once again, they're going to be banning the Hulk. Felt like that was just too much of a problem from Spark Chief, but Euphoria are all business. Instant Hela response ban. I think they're really drilled. They know what they're going to be banning coming into the series. They've been really consistent and stable, whereas LG feels like they haven't really thought so deeply about the strategic aspects of the game. And at this level of play, that's a huge difference maker. Euphoria, they've been scrimming, they've been practicing, they've been putting in that work, and they are going to protect a Magic. Interesting. We haven't really seen Magic all series long. In their previous game against Nightmare, though, we did see a bit of solid Magic performance from Euphoria, so it could be interesting, and it'll be the Hawkeye protect as well. So, okay, securing one of these really dominant backline snipers, banning out the Psylocke. So this is at least a change for LG, right? Like maybe Hawkeye can be that difference maker. What I'm worried about, though, Dustin, honestly, is as good as Hawkeye has been in ranked, as dominant as the character has been, for me at this level of play, Hawkeye could potentially be really vulnerable to dives. His survivability isn't the best. He does monster damage. If he's free to fire, he's going to absolutely carry the game. But I really see Euphoria just targeting this Hawkeye every single fight, trying to kill him first. He really does lack survivability. It'll take some perfect arrows from potentially Funnick here to get these burst kills before the divers get on top of him and finish him off. He really doesn't have any margin for error.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for him, I mean, like you mentioned, it's really hard. I mean, you have Crescent Slash to knock back everybody and maybe in deflect too, but in that instance, you're right. I mean, you can just run away in bird form as Hela, right? It's always going to be difficult, and especially on domination, right? You don't really see Hawkeye, I think, on this map in particular, just because, like you said, it's such a vulnerable target, and you're always going to be in a vulnerable position on domination since it's so fast-paced, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be the triple DPS setup for LG. Third duelist coming in. So it's going to be Neymar, Hawkeye, and Wolverine. Wolverine, I sort of like in the triple duelist setup since he is pretty tanky and can kind of take a lot of attention when he dives in. However, on the flip side, it's been that core team up that Euphoria has been using all tournament long. The Adam Warlock, the Mantis, and the Star-Lord. For me, this looks like the strongest team up right now. I think it's a real mistake not to ban it, as it looks like Euphoria are going to open with a Strange TP. No Strange on the other side for LG, and this could be pretty scary if the TP comes in aggressively.
Yep, as you see, Eris buffing everybody up with a damage boost before they go through the TP, just in case they are met with a fight. But no, in this instance, LG is already playing back. They're trying to spam out from everybody the same angle, which is interesting. But for LG, that's what they want, right? They just want constant pressure downfield. The point unlocks in 2 seconds. The mission area is just about to unlock, and it's Spider-Man that goes back through since he has the maneuverability to run back to the point, cap it out. LG not even testing the point. Maybe they're going to run through now as Light goes through for an engage. They almost cap the point out. Don't even for now, though, as they just want to find potentially a kill. They're going to take it now, but Euphoria, without even a single elim, take the point.
Yeah, and they're really being patient with these dives, not overextending. Coleman diving in, everyone coming in now on top behind that Venom, and yeah, there it goes. Hawkeye cut down first, really stopping that damage output. And here we can see Zelos, what he can do with this Warlock, uncontested on the high ground. No one has time to worry about this Warlock when the dives come in.
I mean, it's tough. Everybody can attest to this that plays, a hit scan hero, either Hela or Namor, no matter what. If you're against the Spider-Man, it's so hard to hit this guy as he could just kind of jump around, kind of juggle in the air, freeform. And you also have to deal with the Star-Lord. So for Team LG, I think a few of their players are on controllers. I hope their controllers are warmed up for this series because you're going to have to be looking up, down, left, right. Pretty much every vertical plane is Euphoria, nearly 50% of the board.
Yeah, the Roller is definitely going to have their work cut out for them. They did find one kill onto Light, but Spider-Man, he's so quick off the spawn. It feels like that won't even matter. Everyone's set up once again for Euphoria, and off the back of that early capture, they're already at 50% on the map. I mean, LG really have the clock against them. Maybe Void with the Cloak and Dagger ultimate to keep them up, but an instant kill on the Hawkeye to start the fight.
Yes, exactly how you said it, Jake. Before the match even started, this Hawkeye has been really hard to make work just because you can just get dove on so easily, like you mentioned. And now you try to come back through, save this Cloak and Dagger, who with the ultimate can get a little bit of damage out range and survive for a bit longer. However, they go to the point, they rotate one to the objective. Euphoria, they're just too well rehearsed right now. I mean, they just run back to the point, take down We the People, and now it's 80% on the board. Last fight territory for Team LG.
Yeah, Spider-Man set up, ready to go here, has ultimate, and an instant burst comes in before a response can be found. Sparky does die to Funnick, but there's so much threat coming in. Hawkeye swarmed, smoked in the corner here. Spider-Man doesn't even need to pop ultimate, and this is final fight. LG, this is do or die here on the first round of domination.
Yeah, they even used ultimates of their own. So now Euphoria, just because of how domination works in Marvel Rivals, you get to hold on to those ultimates into the next round. So Throne Room went well. Odin's Archive now, Jake, they're going in with 5 ultimates versus, I believe, even like 3 for, the side of LG.
I think the best thing for the fans right now is just to watch and learn the way Euphoria approaches the game. When they make these setups, they're allowing the enemy to walk forward into a dangerous territory and then diving all together as a unit, sending the tank in first and then following up with the duelists and supports not far behind. It really is a masterclass right now for Euphoria, holding on to a ton of ults for this. I mean, it's not necessarily the last round, Dustin, but this is about as much of a last round as I have ever seen in a hero shooter.
Yeah, and they can. The only, I was going to say the only instance is that, for Euphoria, they wouldn't have a TP, but they've got Doctor Strange, so they're going to get to the point first probably too, considering for LG, they don't even have a Doctor Strange. They just got that Magneto to work with without a Scarlet Witch team up.
Yeah, maybe this Magneto ultimate can find a burst kill. Could be something to think about. Sparchi building the TP. I like that Adios is potentially thinking about just coming in on his own to maybe have a flank angle, but oh my goodness, this is aggressive. This is scary.
Here it comes. Who's going to dive through first into Spider-Man with the ultimate? It's Light with the ultimate onto everybody, basically. Gets all the shields, gets all the damage. 4 kills with that Spider-Man ultimate. That's an ace for Euphoria.
Oh my God, Dustin. That is just adding insult to injury. And I mean, Euphoria just perfectly played, right? They only deploy 1 ultimate, get a full team wipe. LG has got to be just hurting right now, and the spawn camp being set up. Euphoria fighting way aggressive off the point. Early Eye of Agamotto stuns 4. I think that'll be plenty for the team wipe. And once again, LG back to the spawn room.
Another ace. Maybe Euphoria is going for world record of aces in a match. That would be awesome if they could hit that today. Euphoria, obviously. You know, it seems like every ultimate they get that fight win. For LG now, Jake, I mean, they're holding on to this Hawkeye ultimate. How much is that really going to do when a res is available for Zelos?
I think this one is looking really tough. Oh no! He's trying to pull them off the map!
He's off the map! He's off the map! No way, Light! Spider-Man from across the map will just pulls Hawkeye into the pit of doom, man. Jesus, Euphoria is nuts.
Oh my goodness, this is getting out of control. So for everyone right now playing at home thinking, hey, Hawkeye's so OP, you know, you can't beat this character, Euphoria are showing that it not only can be done, but they're making it look easy. Just one ultimate per team fight. This is really clean play out of Euphoria. They want to end this match as quickly as possible, get on the road, and secure themselves $3,000 with that top 3 placement.
Sitting back, here comes that Mantis ultimate, and Audio just tracks down Funk, who went forwards and into his demise. And now Spider-Man with that power up alongside their team up, rather, with Clone Man, able to get even more damage down range. Everybody here is now for Euphoria piling on to LG. Trying to go for Funk once more.
He's out of the spawn. It's
he's
not
out
looking
of the spawn.
good.
No, he's rough. He's having a rough time at it, but everybody's playing back now for Euphoria, Jake, and they've got more ults.
All right, double support ultimate online for LG. Surely this will keep them alive for a few seconds, but I am pretty scared.
I thought Spider-Man was a hero. He's just been an absolute demon right now. He's just destroying everybody. All of the heroes of the lobby are just getting deleted by Light right now. Here comes the legendary from Audios 2 towards Funk, who goes down yet again to Euphoria, who are playing very well. They go towards the point, at least for Euphoria, you know, they really were they were getting down to business, Jake, right? They wanted to make sure they could win the series handedly over LG, you know, not play with their food necessarily, just get the job done, and they do it today 3-0 over LG.
I mean, this is a statement victory for Euphoria. It was just what they needed after losing to Nightmare yesterday to really put their mark here on the match and show that they are still really a fearsome team to be reckoned with. This does mean, though, we are going to be sending LG home with no prize. That 4th place finish has got to bite here. Bottom finish in the Invitational. But top 3 has been secured for Team Euphoria, and it looks like from the way they're playing today that they want a lot more than that, Dustin.
Yeah, I mean, if any team can beat Nightmare, it is them, but also not NRG, which is that second match that you and our boy Hank are going to be watching in just a bit, and I'll be tuning in for sure, because that's going to be an incredible matchup between those two teams in that upper bracket final. But in the meantime, like you mentioned, Jake, Euphoria looking dang good right now. I mean, they played their ultimates very well. They played their compositions very well. There's not much negative we could say about them. For LG side, on the other angle, you know, maybe in due time with some of the players getting more experience playing Marvel Rivals, they can figure things out. You know, they had some bright spots, and, you know, I'm sure we'll see some of their players again.
Definitely. I think there's some individual players looking strong, but this is a difference in the terms of the teams. I mean, Euphoria came into this with a lot of practice, a lot of preparation. They were one of our top teams in the previous War of the Realms tournament. So to be honest, not super shocked by this result. I don't think LG should feel too bad about this. Their opponents are really fearsome and potentially still one of the top teams in the game. We'll have to see more how the tournament progresses, how these top 3 teams finish up. But the 3 teams still remaining are all in the money now, so they can kind of breathe a sigh of relief rather, and be happy that, you know, at least they've cashed in already. For Euphoria, though, with the performance like this, I think it's pretty clear to me that they're gunning for more than 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, they're a top team for sure in the scene in general, and, you know, I'm sure all of these top 3 teams, whether it be NRG, Nightmare, or Euphoria, like you said, I'm sure we'll see them in that championship series, which starts next week. So, you know, it's incredibly awesome to see a team such as this do as well as they have been, and I'm sure they've been playing in those open qualifiers, getting ready for, you know, those matches and also the championship series. But also, Jake, we're gonna look back at these highlights from that matchup. Obviously, it's pretty much all Euphoria, so let's take a look at that and then go to a break.
Sure, those are bad guys. After my step.
필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작해야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 처음에 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠날 때까지 세계 운명 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 왔던 나라 제발 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모두 나널 지킬 나란 걸 더 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 처음에 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내가 좋아지려면 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래들어서 네 운명에 The fate of the both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 처음에 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠날 때까지 세계 운명 한껏 더 높이 날아올라 내 누워진 밤하늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작해야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 처음에 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠날 때 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 숨들 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내가 좋아지려면 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래 승리 완명해 The weight of the both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠날 때까지 세계 운명 한껏 더 높이 날아올라 내 누워진 방바늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 손들 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠날 때까지 세계 운명 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 어떤 나라 탑을 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모르나 널 지킬 나란 걸 더 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 숨들 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내가 좋아지려면
they kind of got destroyed both series, the one we watched yesterday and
한껏 높이 날아올라 내 누워진 밤하늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah. 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작해야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 손들 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 오면 어둠이 떠날 때까지 세계 오면 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 왔던 나라 제발 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모르나 널 지킬 나란 걸 더 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 손들 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 오면 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내게 주어지려면 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래들의 승리와 명예 The fate of the both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 오면 어둠이 떠날 때까지 세계 오면
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Marvel Rivals Invitational. I'm Jake. I'm joined by Hank, and we're about to get in and cast this upper bracket final between Nightmare and NRG. You looking forward to this match, Hank?
I'm looking forward to this match for sure, Jake. So both of these teams won 3-0 in their first round matches. NRG beating Luminosity 3-0, advancing to the winners finals, and then defeating Euphoria as well, sending them to the losers bracket. Nightmare, just an absolute force to be reckoned with. I feel like either of these teams could take this home. Maybe Nightmare the favorite, just absolutely putting on a masterclass of a display. But I feel like either of these teams could walk away with this one. We'll definitely see a lot of varieties of team ups. I know Nightmare was very strong with their Gamma team up as well as the Mantis Warlock one. But let me tell you guys real quick about the Winter Celebration event. You can earn the brand new Jeff skin for free simply by playing the new 4v4 Jeff game mode. Also, we have the new Groot and Rocket Raccoon Christmas themed skins in the shop you guys can purchase right now. And coming soon, the Venom and Magic skins too. All of these skins are absolutely fire, Jake. Do you have any favorites here?
Yeah, we've talked about the Groot skin. I think the Rocket skin is kind of growing on me. Like Rocket and his cheeky little look in the Santa costume is pretty sweet. I think the Venom one also could be pretty nice. That like icy Venom is pretty sweet, especially I'm curious to see how it looks with all his abilities and all like that. Different stuff Venom could do. I think that'll be a fun skin as well to rock.
Venom is very drippy. I'm also a fan of the Groot skin. Did purchase that bundle right away, and make sure you guys do grind that new Jeff game mode. Unlock that skin simply by playing the game mode, doing those missions. It's very easy. So back to the tournament, Jake. I know you weren't here to witness NRG go against Luminosity yesterday. It was also a bit of a meltdown for Luminosity. Very unfortunate for them. Very well played from NRG. Do you have any predictions how you think this series will go? It is a best of 7, so there is a lot of time for both teams to adapt to each other as well. That's a lot of games to figure out the strategies, maybe adjust, switch up team comps, team ups, all of that. Any predictions from you?
I do think Nightmare in general has to just be the overall tournament favorite. And so I probably will take them as the favorite in pretty much any match they go up against. I mean, looking as good as they did against Euphoria and then watching Euphoria dismantle LG, well, I mean, there's just levels to it, and Nightmare looks like they're on top right now. I think they've been really taking the game super seriously, grinding out a ton of scrims with a ton of practice. They brought on a coach as well. So their team really looks like a well-oiled machine right now. I think they are the team to beat. And NRG, I think they are going to be definitely a tough test. They have a lot of strong individual players who can make those plays and turn the tide of battle based on their individual performance. But the question is, will that be enough to defeat Nightmare's team strategy, their synergy, their execution? In my experience, those things tend to be bigger factors, and I feel Nightmare has those on lockdown. So I will favor them in the series, but I am ready to be surprised. I think NRG, there's always the chance that through some individual pop-offs, through some big plays, they could turn the tide of battle.
They could definitely turn it around with some big plays, and we witnessed yesterday with Nightmare, Super Gomez with the Star-Lord, I believe, and RIA with the Iron Man as well, just leading those team ups, getting those good flanks in, the crucial damage, crucial eliminations. They just an absolute force to be reckoned with. And as I'm saying that, we are getting into the match right now. Not a surprise to see Hela banned right away from Nightmare, using the Iron Man, going against the Hela. It's not in their favor, of course. Hela is usually a target ban.
Punisher ban, though, that does really surprise me. I don't think I've seen Nightmare use the Punisher at all. So NRG banning out the Punisher and protecting the Adam Warlock. This makes total sense, actually, for Nightmare. They really love to use the Adam Warlock, Mantis, and Star-Lord team up, so they've secured it for themselves. The responsive Namor protect, maybe NRG looks to use Namor to potentially shut down some of these high mobility divers. I do think that's easier said than done against a team like Nightmare that has shown a lot of strength.
I really like the Hulk ban here, as we know Hulk is necessary for the Iron Man and Doctor Strange team up, just not allowing Hogs to use that character. And we did witness yesterday, when you weren't here as well, Cal was absolutely popping off on the Hela too. So that ban might influence them a little bit. But now we're going to see a Luna Snow ban from Nightmare as expected, because they will be running the Adam Warlock Mantis duo as well. This is going to be a very good match.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised, though, since, yesterday in Yggdrasil Path, Nightmare did run the Luna Snow as well. I think maybe banning this does limit the team-up potential. That Namor team-up with the slow turret is pretty powerful, I think. Maybe it's a kind of an underrated team-up, can be pretty effective. But Nightmare, their bread and butter is this Adam Warlock team-up. They have protected it. They're going to run it with all elements involved. NRG, they do have the team-up with Mantis. Oh, they are going to run the Adam Warlock as well. So it looks like both teams going to make the most of these reses. Big differences between the lineups is RIA over to the Magic. So really going to bring a high pace style to the defense, where Cal with the Namor look to play a little bit more defensive, a little bit more poke oriented. I think Nightmare is going to feel a bit of pressure to get in aggressive with Venom and Magic. If Nightmare can weather the storm, though, they should be pretty confident in their ability to win a longer team fight.
Yeah, I do like RIA on the Magic. We did get to see a lot of that yesterday. And NRG, they did do a little bit of trolling yesterday, pulling out the Jeff characters such as Black Widow. Rack Attack is bringing back the Jeff. And as you were saying, I do like the Luna Snowban. It does limit Namor's team-up ability with the Octopus, the Ice Octopus. And let's get into the first match.
Super Gomez hiding on the flank, waiting for the dive to come in. It's the calm before the storm right now. Nightmare flanking. Cal, aware of that possibility, looking around for it. Super Gomez draws a bit of attention. Still, Nightmare biding their time. Attackers walking forward. Hawkeye is pretty extended, though. Could be a target. Magic charges in. Venom as well. Straight to the backline. Onto the supports. No kills just yet. Great peel from UV and Rakatak, keeping each other alive, but it's Gaslin who finds O Nocturnal. Got caught off alone, didn't have the support coming into him. Hogs has had to back off on this Venom, but Nightmare get one and fall back. A very clinical dive performance, and a second from Super Gomez. It's a big pick on the Cal. Kurova drops slow, but the peel comes in from Aramori, and this looks really solid for Nightmare. Gaskin just barely staying alive. Magic still in the fray. NRG haven't really had the reset. They've been dropping like flies, and now it's starting to go from bad to worse as Nightmare cleaning up all of these attackers.
Yeah, definitely very well played here from Nightmare. Super Gomez doing what Super Gomez does best, just getting in those great flanks. Kurova resing himself here as well. Super Gomez looking to take a 1v1 with Nocturnal and the Star-Lord, doing a good job getting out as well.
Yeah, we'll see if they can go in again. Magic to the backline. Hogs taking a ton of pressure, though, getting focused down. But the Hawkeye, once again, the linchpin for NRG's damage is cut to pieces. And Nightmare, they're just in and out over and over again. They have been forced to use that Mantis ultimate, but it was traded by NRG. Super Gomez very close to that legendary. May not even need it, though, because Rymazing is cleaving apart the backline. Everybody cut down. Strange now all alone in the front line. Also finished off by Nightmare, and the hit and runs have been beautiful from Nightmare on this defense. Anyone who steps out of position is getting cut down by these explosive dives coming out from Nightmare. NRG have not been able to strike back, and this Hawkeye, as strong and threatening as he can be, he's also vulnerable to getting dived. And he, once again, Venom straight in on top of him. Speak of the devil, definitely a caster curse. He is down for the count. Legendary over the top, mostly being blocked by Strange, but Super Gomez cuts through the shield, finishes off Strange, and wants to even win this 1v1 on the flank. Not a true 1v1. The team comes in to support it, and it looks like Nightmare once again cleaning up on this defense, and the clock has really run down.
Yeah, Doctor Strange can only do so much against that legendary. He can't really protect his whole team from that. Super Gomez getting the crucial team wipe as well. And as I heard earlier, Hawkeye, a lot of people feel like he just simply dominates the ranked game mode, and Nightmare just showing that Hawkeye, there is a way to counter him, just playing very well together, just shutting him down. It is definitely possible to shut that down.
Now, Rymazing on this Magic has been such a huge damage dealer. They really haven't even had the opportunity to focus him. Support goes down. UV reses himself, but the Dark Child in the small room. This is a terrifying combo from Rymazing. He's cleaving through even the Vanguards. No one can stand in his way, and it's another clean team wipe for Nightmare. A bunch of reses were even forced in that engagement. Nightmare are really starting to eat up this clock. Only 1 minute left for NRG to pull something together. They have a bit of an ultimate advantage here. This could be their moment, but the way these fights go, it's hard to imagine NRG even having the opportunity to get the ult value they're hoping for.
Yeah, Super Gomez 1 HP trying to get out. He manages to do so. NRG with a lot of ultimates here as well. Maybe they could get a big Adam Warlock res as well if their team goes down. If they use these ults properly, they could continue to push this forward. Being held at the spawn door is definitely not fun. It might be a little demotivating for them for sure.
Yeah, Hawkeye ult comes out, see if he can get value. No, instantly stunned by the Eye of Agamotto. Barely kept up, though. Great team play from Rakatak with the Mantis ult. That's allowed Cal to get back into this fight, finding 2 kills, looking for potentially more, and Hawkeye starting to activate under a lot of pressure, though, and the flankers do come in. They do clean him up. The mass res from Kurova, keeping people back into the engagement for Nightmare. Super Gomez 95 to Legendary as well, and this is final fight. We've seen what he can do with the ultimate on these players. Low for NRG, unable to come forward, unable to touch the payload, and Super Gomez is finishing them off. A massive res comes in from UV, but it's too little, too late. No touch on the objective, and it's a beautiful full hold for Nightmare. NRG in shambles on that first offense.
Yeah, Ultraviolet a little bit too late with that res there. That would have been big if they had a little more time, but Nightmare is just showing a masterclass, right? They are such a strong team, right? They don't need that Hulk comp as well. Hogs just putting on a display as well with the Venom. This Star-Lord, Warlock, Mantis trio as well. We've seen how strong this can be, right, Jake?
Yeah, I really just feel you can't let Nightmare have this comp. I mean, they are just the best at it. You can mirror match it, but no one, for me, has gotten the same value they've gotten. And as well for Nightmare, I mean, there's just so many layers to their play. Like, I haven't seen so much of the magic from them, but they look really well practiced on it. I just feel like there are so many more strategies that Nightmare hasn't even shown us yet as they look to go deeper into this tournament. I mean, this is a team that is... I mean, they were our previous champion, right? They have to be going into this tournament planning for a grand finals victory. I think it's very possible they have strategies that they just haven't even shown us yet. Nightmare loading up something different. Curious to see what they actually roll out on. I have seen a Hulk, or rather a Thor strat from Nightmare in the previous tournament. They were able to run to great success. Not sure what they're going to go with here on the offense. I mean, NRG, remember, NRG styled on LG in that last series they played yesterday. We're picking all sorts of crazy heroes. If Nightmare returns the favor, that would be a statement in that one.
Yeah, that is definitely a little bit of disrespect. NRG disrespecting LG yesterday, getting a little bit of karma, a little bit of humbling right here. And it appears Nightmare is not going with the Thor Captain America lineup. I thought they would do a little bit of experimenting, but Super Gomez first elimination onto Hodsick taking down Doctor Strange. That is just not what you want to see right now as NRG. All Nightmare needs to do is just win one team fight and they win the match right here.
I mean, it's already over. As soon as you say it, the team fight is won. Players dropping like flies. The aggression from Nightmare perfectly coordinated, and they are just running away already with the map. Cart pushing. One touch maybe can come in. No. Star-Lord is found, punished. Wait, still fighting though. Adam Warlock here in the flank, keeping them alive, but Kuroba reses. Card is rolling into the victory, and Magic really can tear them apart on this payload. Cal keeping it interesting on the Black Panther, but it's 2 versus the world. Nightmare close to their own spawn, and huge advantage as they close out Yggdrasil Path Convoy.
Yeah, that's just a beautiful display, like I said as well, from Nightmare. Just an absolute masterclass. They were definitely very prepared for this tournament, coming and winning the previous War of the Realms tournament. They're built for moments like these, Jake, and they are showing us why they are the best.
Yeah, Super Gomez, he's been racking up MVPs all tournament long, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. The Star-Lord has really been impressive, and that's a deathless map for him as well on the Star-Lord. Amazing, I think, really looking great on the Magic as well. These dives were so explosive. Both characters coming in, both duelists following up on their tanks, and it's just that team coordination, that team synergy is really where Nightmare has been head and shoulders above the competition. On an individual basis, I feel like these NRG players can compete, can find their kills, but in the end, you've got to have team play in a hero shooter, and that is where Nightmare is just dominating the competition.
Yeah, you can definitely have some great, solid individual performances, right? But what matters most is being able to strategize together, get those flanks in as a unit, and work together as a team, right? And I feel like Team Nightmare is just very strong at that, right? They've done their practice, their scrims, all of that. They're just built for moments like these, right? Now, if you're Team NRG, right, you can either try, I think, banning maybe Adam Warlock or Mantis, get that team up out of there as well completely, maybe try getting the Hulk team up out of there again as well, right? Or you could just try to mirror it, right? But I feel like Nightmare is just so strong at it that it's pretty impossible as well to just diff them at their own lineup, right?
Yeah, it really does feel like Nightmare's game when it comes to playing that res lineup. Like, they really make the most of the team up. I mean, if anything, I just want to see NRG ban it just to make Nightmare dig a little bit deeper into the strategy book, right? Like, people, frankly, this team hasn't really been pushed. Like, they haven't really been tested yet. And I think in order to do that, you've at least got to, like, take them off the first page of their strat book. Nightmare looks way too well practiced on this. Like, I love those dives on defense from Nightmare. They're so patient. Everyone's waiting. No one's exposed. No one's getting picked off. And when the dive comes in, everybody is getting in. There's great synergy, great team play there. And that just looked to be overwhelming for NRG. As much as you can have a character like Hawkeye and he has the threat to, you know, find these pickoffs with good aim, he's just as vulnerable to dying himself, to being attacked when, you know, the dive comes in and you're just unable to protect each other. I feel NRG was definitely resistant at times to those dives, was doing a decent job protecting each other, but Nightmare is so good with that in and out play style. You know, even if they did fail the dive, they were still escaping with their lives. And so NRG needs to find something new, needs to change things up, I think, to shake up this series. Not only is that a full hold on Convoy, but I mean, that is like a really dominant full hold, like very close to the attacker spawn. And, you know, maybe if they push it a little bit more, I think they could have felt all right about their chances on defense. But after Nightmare's defense, I just felt, wow, like that map is kind of over before it's begun. And it's just sort of another statement start to a series from Nightmare.
All right, so we're going to show you guys the highlights of the previous match right now. What a display from Nightmare. Let's get into that.
tightly, trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world, I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon. And I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you really are? Show me that you are still the only one for me. I'll be waiting for you. Wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rifts winters again, we are rivals till the end. Rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals till the end of time. We will clash, no matter where. We will fight, reaching across time and space. 'Cause you are my destiny to the end. You see the dawn, the flames burning brightly, shining on those memories. And yes, across all time I see you turning the tides. And do you see now our time, our turn? We can still fight like the wind and fire. And wonder no more that now is the only time your heart is mine. Light has fallen, darkness grows, and yes, we fight for our destiny and fate. New days smiling for the past and future. Break those chains, lead the way, fight with me. And when you wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rifts winters again, we are rivals till the end. Rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals again until the end of time. Show me that you are still the only one that matters for me. I'll be waiting for you. Wait up, open your hands, holding on to your heart. Look inside you. Can you feel it? The sparks in you. Add it up, unleash it up. Wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rifts winters yet again, we are rivals till the end. And rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals till the end of time. Remember the dusk, the lights gripping tightly, trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world, I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon. And I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you really are?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Marvel Rivals Invitational. We're about to get into the next match in this series. Map 1 between Nightmare and NRG was really dominant. Nightmare came out to a strong lead, securing the map, but honestly, Hank, it wasn't close. They looked amazing on that defense.
Yeah, it wasn't close at all. Nightmare just absolutely shutting down NRG, and even when NRG was having a little bit of a bright spot, a bit of a bright moment, Cal getting 2 eliminations with the Hawkeye at the very end, as you were saying, it's very possible to just dive Hawkeye, right? It's very hard to preserve your life, right? You're managing to overextend a little bit and then just shut down once again. Just Super Gomez and Amazing doing an amazing job getting in, getting out, as we were saying as well, and the Magic and the Star-Lord, just an absolute masterclass of how to dive in Marvel Rivals, right? So I feel like if you're NRG, you either have to adjust with your comp to that as well, adjust your game plan a little bit, or maybe try to target those team up bans with the Mantis, Warlock, and once again don't let them get that Hulk team up as well. You definitely don't want to let Nightmare continue to run free with that.
Yeah, I want to see some changes in the bans from NRG. Just force Nightmare to show you something different. Force them to go a little bit deeper into the strat book. They just look too solid with that team up, as you mentioned. And at least maybe with the hero bans, we can force some kind of change in this series. I think that's necessary for Nightmare to have a chance here.
Yeah, if it continues to go how that last game went, it's looking like Nightmare could come out with a 4-0 sweep. It is a best of 7. NRG does have a lot of time to adjust here, right? Even if they lose the next match, they do have time to maybe try a few other things out, right? I think maybe they could try taking out the Mantis Warlock, like I said, and maybe run some different supports here as well. Luna would maybe counter out the Star-Lord Legendary Ultimate as well. Loki is very good anti-dive as well, which could help as well, but they need to have practiced these strategies and these heroes, right?
Yeah, and that's the question for NRG, like how deep does their practice go? How much have they invested? Where Nightmare has shown a ton of strats and they've looked really diverse across all the comps they've played. For NRG, while they've been individually strong, I can't say the same for their strategic diversity. They've been relying a lot on individual pop-off performances, which can take you pretty far in the tournament. I mean, they looked great against LG yesterday, but is it enough to throttle Nightmare's teamwork?
Hopefully we don't see any Jeff bans. It looks like we're going to see some Jeff gameplay perhaps here. Once again, not shocked seeing the Hela ban for Nightmare. We know they like to run the Iron Man, and Cal was indeed gaming on the Hela the other day. Absolutely terrorizing Luminosity, but a little bit of... Oh, it looks like we're going to see a Star-Lord Protect. Not shocked to see that for Nightmare. Super Gomez just absolutely farming on the Star-Lord. I wonder who NRG is going to try to protect here.
Yeah, it is interesting with the Adam Warlock taken out. I like that ban from NRG. Nightmare, though, still valuing the Star-Lord, even without the team up. So that really does put a lot of presence on the map. Luna Snow, a good protect. I like this one from NRG. It's a really strong defensive support that can enable some of these greedier DPS like Hawkeye to potentially shine, you know, when they're protected and saved by Luna Snow. I've seen like the Namor team up looks pretty good with Luna as well. And NRG also going to ban the Hulk. I think mostly because they don't really like playing the Hulk as much themselves, and they know what, you know, Hogs can do on the Hulk. They know what a big threat it is. They know about Amazing's threat on the team up with the Iron Man. So ban and protect wise, I actually really like what we've seen from NRG. I think this is a great adaptation. It makes a lot of sense. Namor responsive ban, I think ensuring that the combo team up with Luna Snow won't be available. So, you know, all in all, strategic wise, NRG, I like these adaptations for this second map in the series. Curious to see what support combo Nightmare ends up going for, right? Taking out Adam Warlock has been that critical strategist for them.
Yeah, I think the ban and protect phase here from both teams even are absolutely perfect, right? NRG removing both of the core factors of Nightmare's 2 strong team-ups, right? They're not letting them get the Gamma team-up or the triple res with Adam Warlock being the key factor, the anchor of those team-ups, right? And then Nightmare removing Namor, knowing the NRG wants that Luna Snow, not letting him get those Ice Octopus turrets out there as well. And I like the Luna Protect for NRG because, as I was saying earlier, she has a very useful defensive ultimate, right? Super Gomez, if popping his legendary, right? Luna Snow could just pop her ultimate, shut that down, and they get absolutely no value out of that, right?
Yeah, the double defensive support ultimate, I think, is really going to be a big factor in this map, right? With both supports having that big AoE healing ability on the ultimate, a lot of these team fights are going to go really deep into the fight, and it's really going to be about finding those burst kills, catching supports, forcing them to pop ult earlier than they would like to. Nightmare have been great at that, and they're setting up with sort of another dive style using the Venom instead of the Hulk. I don't think they're too worried about this. NRG are going to go with a much more conventional front-to-back poke comp, as it looks like they're also going to be going for a strange TP. Nightmare aware of this. They're going to fall back and be ready for any potential TP positioning, very aware of the threat Doctor Strange poses.
Yeah, definitely love the TP on this map. Maybe going for that high ground or TPing as they adhere to this bottom room. Super Gomez by himself right now. Hopefully he doesn't get jumped by them, managing to get out. Very well played from him. And then Magic diving the back line. Amazing. Can he get an elimination here? Make that 2 actually. Down goes both duelists for NRG, and it's not looking good for them right now.
Yeah, a bit of a split decision from NRG with a lot of those backliners coming high ground, the Vanguard's low ground, and there was no tank in front to stop Amazing. He just kind of cut them to pieces. Great awareness of the variability. And oh, I love this. Is this a stagger by a Nightmare? Oh, this is
That's a
brutal.
huge stagger.
They're going to keep him up a long time. He does a lot of damage there, sure, but that's all going to get healed up by the supports from Nightmare. They got 1 kill. They're going to chase for more. I mean, this is beautiful tactical play. Cal potentially caught alone on the flank, but it looks like Super Gomez wants to hunt down supports, wants to get straight to the back line. Cal, though, he's a big threat on this Punisher, has already found 1 pick on the Aramari. No res available, right? That Warlock team-up was disabled, but still, Nightmare brawling, down 1 support. They don't care. They're getting in there. They're mixing it up with the Magic.
Yeah, Amazing just absolutely popping off. And as we were saying as well, no team-ups at all on either end in this match. Gasklin managing to take down Drew as well. NRG, they have got to get it together if they want to try to advance in this tournament.
Yeah, and Super Gomez, despite losing Amazing, he's going to do it himself with this legendary support ultimate from Mantis, though, keeping everybody alive. Super Gomez seems like he won't get too much out of this. Forces the ultimate is going to be all he can get. Nightmare look like they're going to fall back, play the point. It's NRG's opportunity to keep pushing forward. Fun, looking for this Groot ultimate, potentially trying to find a combo here. Super Gomez drops low, needs to fall back. Groot slowly working forward with the walls, but Nightmare showing so much aggression despite the situation they're in. They do force out rack attacks. Luna Snow ultimate first and still holding on to a double support ultimate. The defense is looking good for them. Magneto charging up. The Rock does find rack attack, burst into the ult, as well Kurova popping Luna Snow and Darkchild from Amazing. They're swarming forward. NRG getting crushed in the choke point. Although it looked potentially dangerous for Nightmare, in the end, they still hold on to some critical resources. It was beautiful team play by those divers, forcing out support ultimates early, staying alive, re-engaging, and just crushing the offense. And once again, NRG really struggling to get any purchase on the map.
Yeah, very well played there from Nightmare. It was looking like they were about to lose that team fight. NRG, definitely, I like those 2 defensive support ultimates, managing to nullify Super Gomez, but he managed to turn it around, and Gasklin eliminating Cal. Out comes the Eye of Agamotto, managing to get no... Oh, never mind. Down goes Kurova. Can NRG win this fight?
It's possible, but Nightmare are still brawling, still looking for trades. Hogs has the Venom ultimate of his own. He's going to pop it now, gets a big burst and a lot of HP to help the team fight go. It's getting very scrappy, though. We are close to NRG spawn. They're pretty happy to take trades in this position, and with the lack of reses, maybe Nightmare has come a little too far. They're falling back. They're allowing NRG to take position on point, just trying to stay alive right now. Look for the recontest. Super Gomez very close to that ultimate, but Ultraviolet, he is holding on to that Mantis ultimate. They do have the defensive tools they need to get this cap.
Yeah, NRG, once again, they do have that Mantis ultimate to counter the Star-Lord Legendary as well. Only 25 seconds remaining. They've managed to get 1 tick on the point. Nocturnal trying to cling to dear life, but out comes the Mantis ultimate to save him.
Yeah, and Amazing finds 1. Super Gomez, legendary online, popping it now. Getting on top of those supports. There's no defensive ultimate rack attack. 80%, not nearly close enough to counter. And it's Super Gomez. We've seen this time and time again. Cleaning up offenses in the overtime. Seems to always have this ultimate online. Nightmare, they're going to make the full hold. NRG have something to work with. 69% cap, it's possible. But still, not even capturing the first point. Nightmare have to still be have a lot of confidence, I think, going into their attack.
Yeah, just as we saw yesterday as well when Nightmare was going against Euphoria, right? On the on these kind of game modes, right? When the other team has a little glimpse as if they're about to capture the point, right? And Nightmare just managing to hold it down, manage their ultimates properly, win those team fights. They're just such a strong team, right? It looks like no one can possibly contest them in this tournament.
Yeah, you know, for Nightmare, I think even without the team ups, right, they have such a great understanding of their strength at any moment. And as good as they are, and as often as we see Nightmare charging forward, being super aggressive, they have a lot of depth as a team. You know, they're not always aggressive. When they do sense that, okay, we've fallen behind, we need to stabilize, they really are confident in that read. They fall back together, and they're not giving any free pickoffs. They're just playing such a clean game, and I feel like that's really the reason they're so hard to beat. You know, even if you do get an opening into the team fight, Nightmare are great at rallying together in those low number situations and finding the way to clutch. So NRG, setting up with a dive comp of their own. This time it's gonna be the Panther on the defense. You know, it's a slightly different look than the Magic, but I think it's the same idea for NRG, right? Cal looking to get in, dive in on the Venom, the role swap to Vanguard, and allowing Fun to be playing the back Panther. So I think I like this from NRG. They're gonna get aggressive. They're gonna dive in, see how Nightmare responds to that aggression.
Yeah, this could go a little bit differently. Some role swaps, absolutely love that. They have 4 minutes to try to make a hold here. Looks like the Strange Portal will be coming out. I don't think they can try to stop that. And I think Nightmare might have the advantage here as they're grouped up.
Oh, big burst. Super Gomez onto this Psylocke as well, looking to get on the flank, pressuring Rack Attack, keeping the heals away from those Vanguards. That allows Hogs to finish off this Black Panther. Rack Attack now cut down by his opposite number, Kurova on the Luna Snow, and it's all Nightmare in the feed. They're charging forward. Cal strikes back onto Amazing, but the cap is ticking up. You've got to get here in time, and it's just not possible. Nightmare up 2-0 in the series with another statement map, a speed run on the offense, 40 seconds to cap. NRG are falling apart by the hands of Nightmare. They want to win this tournament. They want to secure their place in the grand finals, and they're on the road to do just that, up 2-0 in the series. This is a best of 7, but it's a great start for Team Nightmare.
Yeah, Nightmare is just showing that they can speedrun every single round. It doesn't matter what team comp they have to play. They are just absolutely gaming today. Super Gomez are amazing, both with 16 eliminations, 8,000 damage from Super Gomez, absolutely just doubling everyone on the other team. Just an amazing, well-played game from Nightmare today, going up 2-0 in the series as well.
Yeah, and showing even more depth in this series. Like, I really liked NRG's approach to the bans. I think this really did help them. It destabilized some of the consistency that Nightmare has been able to bring to bear, and I think that did play towards NRG's strengths. But, I mean, Nightmare, there's just so much strategic depth to them. Like, even without these core team-ups that they've been relying on, I think they look very well practiced. They're not, like, they don't look like they're really relying on those team-ups as much as I thought they were. Like, they're making the most of them when they're available, but even without the team-ups, Nightmare just has more strategies, more depth to them, and the flexibility to execute that is really impressive. Like, where NRG has got to do a lot of role swaps to maybe get the heroes that they want to bring out, Nightmare looks very comfortable, very practiced, and very confident when it comes to selecting their heroes. They really don't second guess themselves. It seems like they always know what's best for the situation.
Yeah, and that's what's very necessary in a hero shooter, right? Just being able to be flexible, right? If your heroes are banned, your certain strategy that you may run, being able to adapt to something else just in a heartbeat, right? Just being able to pull out any composition and just flood the other team, right? We're seeing speed runs left and right every single round out of Nightmare, just making it look like nobody can stop them, right?
Yeah, I feel like anyone in this tournament is going to be hard pressed, right? If it wasn't Euphoria in that first round, NRG looking pretty rough here in the upper bracket. Nightmare just look on top of the world. I mean, you got to remember, this team is our champion from that War of the Realms tournament in the playtest. So, I mean, Nightmare, you've got to expect them to be the favorites. But even after like a month of play, even after this new release, still they're staying on top. It's hard to be this dominant on top. You know, anyone can watch your VODs. These other teams could be copying your strategies. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. Nightmare are just on another level right now. Like, no one really is catching up. I'm wondering, can NRG dig something new out of the bag? Because, to be honest, those were the bans I wanted to see. I liked their strategic approach to the game. I think it did help them in that map. It just wasn't even close to enough.
Yeah, like we've been saying as well, the bans, they can only do so much, right? Both teams, I feel like they protected and banned the most perfect, optimal things there, right? But you just have to play as good as possible, and Nightmare is just doing it better, right? So we're going to get into the highlights here, and then we will be going to a short break, and then getting into the third match.
누워진 밤하늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 가슴을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 오면 어둠 있다 날 때까지 세계 오면 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 어떤 나라 제발 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모르나 널 지킬 나란 걸 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 햇빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 혼란한 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 가슴을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 오면 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내게 좋아지려면 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래들의 승리와 명예 The fate of the both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 가슴을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 오면 어둠 있다 날 때까지 세계 오면 한껏 더 높이 날아올라 내 누워진 밤하늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 햇빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 혼란한 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 가슴을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐
Welcome back, everybody, to the Marvel Rivals Invitational. We're getting ready to get into the next match of the series. Teams are preparing. Nightmare out to a very solid 2-0 lead. NRG made that last map a little bit more competitive, but in the end, it was all Nightmare all the time.
Yeah, Nightmare, the only team to remain undefeated in this tournament and just absolutely speed running every single round, showing us a display of a masterclass consistently, regardless of what comp they're forced to run. NRG making the proper bans, right? They banned what we thought they needed to ban, removing both of the crucial team ups that Nightmare runs with Hulk as the anchor and Adam Warlock as the anchor as well. I don't think they can respond any better with the bans, right? They just simply have to get it together, get their strategy in line, maybe try a different comp that they're comfortable with to try to throw them off. I'm not sure what we're going to see here, Jake.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough test. There have been bright spots for NRG. I think a few of these individual players, the supporting play from UV and Rack Attack has looked solid. They've been able to survive the first few, instances of these dives, but Nightmare are just so oppressive. They have so many layers to their play, right? They come in first, they force an ult, they're all out of the fight, they're re-engaging when your ults are down. I mean, they just really have a mastery of the game. Seems like they're pretty far ahead of the competition right now, frankly. And remember, if you win here as Nightmare, you cement yourself a spot in the grand finals, you get yourself a top 2 placement. So, I mean, worst case scenario, you're walking away from this tournament with $7,000 in the pocket. That's got to feel good for Nightmare. And the question is for them, do they have the composure really to stay focused and stay calm when they're this close to securing that place in the grand finals and their spot in Marvel Rivals history?
Yeah, the way they've been playing, it looks like they definitely can keep the composure up. They're built for moments like these. I'm interested how the bans will look. It appears NRG was not rocking with the Venom last match for some reason. Gonna try to throw something different out there. Nightmare removing the Hela once again. Nothing new here. They do not like the Hela, especially running Iron Man most of the time. I'm wondering who we're going to see protected here. Last match, it was Star-Lord. Might be the same again here.
Yeah, curious to see if it's the Star-Lord. The Jeff Protect. Hold up. We got some Jeff fans on Nightmare. Are they getting spicy with us? Is this a troll protect, or are they gonna really run some Jeff here on Hell's Heaven Domination?
Yeah, absolutely love the Jeff Protect. Maybe we'll see some Jeff gameplay here. Fan favorite. Make sure you guys try out that new 4v4 Jeff game mode. Get that free Jeff skin. Some absolute drip from him. NRG protecting the more this time. Maybe they're looking to get the more Luna Snow gameplay. Nightmare might ban the Luna Snow potentially. I'm wondering if NRG is going to try to target any of Nightmare's team-ups here, as they haven't really taken any of those out. Down goes Hulk. Maybe we won't see Iron Man, yeah.
So both of these core dive tanks being taken out of the equation. It's a new approach for NRG, right? Rather than focusing so much on the team ups, instead they are really respect banning Hogs right now. I mean, he's getting both of those dive tanks banned. I'm really curious to see what Hogs comes out on. And the response ban on Hawkeye, I think this makes a lot of sense, right? Where in other matches with Venom or Hulk online, Hogs feels, okay, we can shut down this Hawkeye. We're not worried about him. But these are kind of the top 2 dive tanks in Marvel Rivals right now. And so, Hogs is going to play the Thor, but maybe doesn't want to deal with the immense damage threat that Hawkeye does pose.
Yeah, I like the Thor Storm, a pretty solid team up that we don't really see that much here. Nightmare might be experimenting a little bit. Like I was saying as well, NRG, they will have the Namor and Luna Snow team up as well. And definitely a very different approach here. Gotta love that pink Jeff skin as well. We will be
the
seeing
Jeff is so cute. It's unreal.
He is so cute and cuddly. We will be seeing some Jeff gameplay here. Also, the Jeff and Luna Snow team up. Maybe a chance for Jeff to shine in this match right here for Nightmare.
Actually, this is a strategy I've seen before from Nightmare in the previous tournament, running the Thor and Storm team up, Iron Man as well coming in. And no, I mean, it's only the Storm for the duelist. Remember, Storm, if you haven't seen her too much, she does provide a damage boost aura to her team. And what I'm expecting to see from Nightmare is the team playing very grouped up, very stacked on this aura, relying on the big AoE heals from Jeff and Luna Snow, and just really brawling as a unit with that Storm damage aura. Amazing has looked great on the character, even though it's not been picked very much. I love this strategy coming out from Nightmare. NRG on the flip side are going the complete opposite direction, going to go for a triple duelist setup. We'll see if they're able to pump in the damage. Could be tough to stay alive against the death ball that Nightmare is bringing to bear.
Yeah, this is 2 very interesting compositions, right? NRG with 3 duelists and Nightmare with 3 vanguards, and it looks like Nocturnal is going to kick it off with the first elimination. Make that 2! Make that 3! Oh my goodness, what a pop-off for NRG. This is what they needed.
Yeah, beautiful performance by Nocturnal. Gets the Kurova down first on the Luna Snow, and that's the danger of Nightmare's composition. If you lose those strategists, if you lose the healing, this triple Vanguard setup really does rely on that amount of healing. They're going to take a lot of damage and just rely on getting healed up. So Psylocke really is a great pick, I think, for NRG. Something they can look for. Kurova and Armori have got to be very careful. They're almost always going to be targeted first in these fights.
Yeah, and Nocturnal is just absolutely farming right now, getting those first crucial eliminations, managing to not get out right there. Unfortunate for him, and it looks like Nightmare might have the advantage in this fight potentially. No.
Yeah, they're battling back. Only one support online. Everyone trying to get healed up for Nightmare as they look to push in with a bit of a power play. We're able to potentially turn around that engagement, but it's a long way to cap the objective. NRG bending but not breaking. They're staying alive. They're keeping the point in control. Nightmare needs to find something more to get that flip. Right now, it's Hogs deep in as well. Iron Man, Gaskin getting in, mixing it up, getting supported by his team, and the comp starting to really pick up. Super Gomez as well onto the Psylocke. She's been a crucial thorn in their side, and now she's shut down. Nightmare forcing the cap onto the point. Fun does pop the Armed and Dangerous, but Ultraviolet as well. The Mantis ultimate keeping everyone up. Luna Snow, responsive ult by Nightmare. They're staying into this engagement. They're staying committed. The Whale does come in from Cal and Namor, but no kills there. Support ultimates though running low, and NRG has the last laugh with that support ultimate. They've been holding on to this point the entire time. Amazing looking for the big Storm ultimate coming through, trying to cleave through these duelists. It is going to be 2 down from the Storm, maybe more to come as Nightmare. It's a scrappy fight. Nocturnal's getting a couple kills back, but I think this is Nightmare getting the flip at 70%.
Yeah, a little too late for Nocturnal there, and I feel like Storm is a very underrated hero, right? We don't really see much Storm gameplay here. Nightmare is running the triple team up as well with Storm, Thor, and Captain America. A very unique composition as well. Like you said, those 2 supports, if you take one of them out, those 3 Vanguards definitely rely very heavily on those heals, right? So if NRG with the triple duelist can manage to just eliminate 1 support, it's going to be very hard for Nightmare to continue to win that fight, right?
Yeah, the key is going to be these supports staying safe with a threat that Nocturnal does pose. Iron Man and Thor getting in, but it's Super Gomez going down first. Thor popping the ultimate though, looking to potentially burst through the back line. 1 support down. It's a 5-on-5. Nightmare still brawling, relying on Gaskin's Iron Man ultimate. Teammates really getting the benefit of all this major stat boost playing in the Iron Man ultimate. Now the target comes in onto Fun FPS, but Gaslin dropping low on HP, maybe need to back off this high ground. Divers as well coming in for NRG, and the triple duelist setup, it's scrappy, but it might be getting the edge in this fight. Nightmare though supports, stabilizing incredibly well, staying alive in this fight. Cal with a beautiful headshot onto Kurova though. That's just what NRG needed to start to swing this fight in their favor. Aramori trying to grab the enemies as Jeff does find, I think, 1 in there, trying to potentially take him off the map. No, Aramari focus down, can't even get the conversion from the Jeff ultimate, and Nightmare in real trouble, unable to hold on to the point any longer. NRG, it took a lot of ultimates, but they got the job done. Nightmare gonna have to regroup, gonna have to get 1 final fight here. NRG are really making this interesting, have completely changed the momentum in this series with the triple duelist pick.
Yeah, this is definitely what NRG needs, just managing, or just needing to win 1 more fight right here. Hogs just clinging on for dear life. Can he manage to get out? No, he cannot. Down he goes. The Luna Snow ultimate coming out a little bit too late. Very unfortunate for Nightmare.
Yeah, Gaskin coming back on the Doctor Strange, see if he can get into this fight, but Kurova's ultimate looks purely defensive. So many players alive for NRG. Ultraviolet going to be popping that Mantis ultimate as well. Rack Attack following it up with the Luna Snow ultimate. So much survivability for this triple duelist comp, and the Armed and Dangerous Fun is running through the backline, targeting down these supports, trying to get that execution so close. Supports protecting each other. It is helpful in the moment. Amazing though with the Storm ultimate, trying to turn this around in the last second. Kills still coming through for NRG. They're able to evade the Storm. 99% on the clock, and it is going to be NRG winning a round here on domination, beginning a potential momentum shift in the series.
Wow, that is very interesting. That is NRG's first map, or first win in general in any round against, first anything. Yeah, they were just getting speed ran both of the other rounds, and this is just what they needed, right? Maybe a momentum shift as well, maybe a mental shift, right? They're thinking, oh, we just won a round, oh, we can actually hang with these guys now, right?
I think for NRG, I really do believe, like, individually as aimers, they are very, very strong. So getting the Psylocke, getting Bucky as well, and Cal on the Namor, I mean, these are really powerful characters if you've got the aim to convert. And it looks like that's NRG's strength. I mean, I like this, that they're playing towards that at this point in the series. You know, rather than worrying about the meta, they're making this triple duelist really sing. And Nightmare are going to change up in a pretty big way for this next map. They're going to go back to something that's worked for them before, this combo, not really a team up, but just a combo from the Groot and the Moon Knight. Amazing. That ultimate is an insane follow-up into the Groot ultimate. And with only 1 Vanguard for NRG, they could really be vulnerable to that. Still going into this round pretty low on ultimates. It looks like Nocturnal on the Psylocke is going to have the first opportunity to get that ultimate online.
Yeah, I do love that combo of the Moon Knight and Groot ultimates combined. Those can't even get you crucial eliminations through the Luna Snow ultimate, right? That Moon Knight damage is just so strong when that is coming down. NRG sticking with the triple duelist. I do like that for them, as you were saying. Definitely some solid, good aimers. And Aramori kicking it off, but no. Down goes 2 members of Nightmare, and it's looking good for NRG again.
Yeah, supports for NRG are the ones to find the kills. Hogs, though, does trade it back. Early Groot ultimate does catch a few. See if the follow-up is there. Seems like it might just barely be. Hogs is starting to clutch this one out. Huge performance on the Groot, and Aramori into the front line. Not scared to mix it up with some of those duelists. Kurova now hits the freeze. Cal on 1 HP gets cleaned up, and both teams, the strategists, really making the difference in that fight. Tons of kills coming in from the strategists. So one of the exciting things about Marvel Rivals is, you know, despite the role you're playing, pretty much anyone can have big impact on these games.
Yeah, gotta love Mantis and Luna Snow, right? Both 2 strategists, right, that can just put out so much damage. They both have stuns as well to prevent dive heroes from just absolutely farming them, right? You can have a huge impact not only by healing your team, right, and positioning yourself well, staying alive, but you can really win those 1v1s as well, right?
Yeah, this Moon Knight getting big damage on the flank. Super Gomez forced to use both dashes to escape out of that situation there. Both teams coming into a big bank of ultimates. This fight really is going to have a lot of impact on the round. Rack Attack drops low, is forced to pop an early Luna Snow ultimate. Nightmare with the Meteor from Gaskin. Not able to find any burst kills. Whale from the Moor as well. Not able to clean up anything, but support ultimates are starting to run low. Both teams only on 1 left. Super Gomez, that's a big win in the duel. Takes down O Nocturnal, trying to turn this around, and Ryan Mazing, he's holding on to that ultimate. Remember, Groot gets this ultimate online. It's going to be a nasty combo to deal with. Aramori's Mantis ultimate keeping everyone alive, and Nightmare may not even need this critical ult combo. It looks like they are cleaning up. Super Gomez, after winning that duel, was able to convert and snowball into even more kills, and these low players are really at risk for NRG right now. I think this is an opportunity for a massive cleanup by Nightmare, and they're sensing it too. They're pushing forward into the enemy spawn. Super Gomez really pushing the limits on this character. Does get punished by Fun FPS, though. Scouted her out, punished her. Really well done, but, I mean, getting through this combo. Moon Knight and Groot, super terrifying. Hogs and Ryan Mason can clean this up all by themselves. NRG have to be so cautious right now.
Yeah, Super Gomez did get punished by the Punisher, getting pretty disrespectful there. And oh my goodness, Cal with the elimination onto Aramori, leaving only 1 healer remaining for Nightmare, but Ryan Mazing clapping back. 2 eliminations. Down goes 3 NRG members, and it is not looking good for them, and I believe Nightmare is going to take this one home right here.
It's a great turnaround response from Nightmare. They go back to the stable 2-2-2 style. Maybe that triple Vanguard setup was a little bit vulnerable to the amount of damage output the triple duelist can offer, but the 2-2-2 setup, very stable, very consistent. Nightmare strike back, making that last round look like a bit of an aberration. Now, though, there's still an opportunity for NRG, right? This is the map they can win. They could start to build something that they can work with in this series, but it was pretty massive. I think that Nightmare were able to hold on to 2 very powerful ultimates for this next round, right? Opening with that Luna Snow ultimate, you know, any kind of variable that comes in from NRG can be responded to. And Ryan Mazing with that Moon Knight ultimate, yes, there's not the most obvious combo, but sometimes that kill just comes in faster than you can react for NRG, especially with their low Vanguard strategy.
Yeah, we haven't seen that deadly Moon Knight Groot ultimate combo yet, but NRG as well. Once they get into this first fight, they should have enough ultimates built up for Luna Snow and Mantis as well. NRG definitely needs to win this match right here. This is the closest they've been to securing a round against Nightmare, who is just the strongest team we've seen in this tournament, right?
Yeah, definitely, and they're going to open with the Strange Portal. Looks like taking the opposing team's high ground. See if NRG are expecting this. Super Gomez going alone as well, looking to scout out the opposition. All right, sees where they're all coming from. Nightmare has all the information. They have the high ground. How are NRG going to respond, try to come through these choke points? I think pushing through this door against Groot is a pretty tall order. I think that's going to be pretty difficult to do.
That is very hard to do that. Just playing into Groot, just being able to wall you off, build up so much damage. Psylocke with the big flank. Super Gomez does an amazing job getting in and getting out, right? That is just amazing from them. But down goes Ryan Mazing. Unfortunate.
Yeah, and they're keeping the fight in contest here. Super Gomez doesn't want to overcommit, and 2 players down. Despite coming into this ultimates, NRG got the picks. Nocturnal making the difference, and gonna commit the Luna Snow ultimate, trying to battle back, but it's all Nightmare in the feed. Hogs does find 1, does shut down the Mantis, but I think NRG have maybe just done enough here already. They respond in kind with their own Luna Snow ultimate. They're cleaning up, and even, is this a stagger? No, they are gonna clean up Kurova. Nightmare really suffered in that from that first fight, with Amazing dropping early to the Psylocke. Nocturnal's been such a difference maker in these engagements, and the consistent damage threat from Cal means that, you know, if Nightmare don't find kills early, this Namor really makes a big difference in the long team fight.
Yeah, Cal has been doing a very good job on the Hela as well in the previous series, and on the Namor here as well. A lot of ultimates for both teams going into this fight right here, and NRG is, maybe they have adjusted a lot in the because this is a best of 7. They've had time to adjust to Nightmare so far.
Yeah, both teams going to be popping Mantis ultimates, but the kills still come through for Nightmare, bursting through those ultimates. That's absolutely massive. The Moon Knight ultimate from Amazing was enough DPS to burn through a support ultimate, and that's a huge swing where it looked like NRG was in firm control in a great position. They weren't able to convert despite the deployment of 2 powerful duelist ultimates. Nightmare are going to be really happy that not only are they able to get the flip, but it's such a quick team fight that, I mean, this round is pretty close to equalized already.
Yeah, those quick team fights, just getting a team wipe in a matter of a few seconds are absolutely crucial, and no, Nocturnal just barely managing to get out.
Had to use everything, though, just to survive. Opportunity for a power play from Nightmare. Root wall in. Eye of Agamotto onto everyone. It looks like a 6-man disgusting stun from Gasklin. He's been a huge performer on Doctor Strange, and showing why this Vanguard is such a powerful pick at the highest level. 1 ultimate, and it's absolutely a secured team wipe. NRG sent back to the spawn with extreme prejudice. See if this map does turn. I know that the map stage does move around. Maybe that will change things up for NRG. This flank fight 1v1. Suspect Super Gomez not ready for that.
Beautiful flank from Nocturnal right there, just managing to absolutely Psylocke div Super Gomez in the moment. But Nightmare has been doing an amazing job with ult management, right? Just being able to secure a team wipe with just simply Doctor Strange's ultimate in its own, right?
Yeah, and the deployment of the Luna Snow ultimate. Nightmare are down 1, but they're delaying this fight. They're really stretching it out, and they are in control. Gaston shuts down Fun, not able to get that ultimate off as well. Amazing looking for something. Remember, that combo is coming online, and it looks like the fight is already going Nightmare's way. Luna Snow ultimate deployed, but with only 4 players alive, I'm not sure they're going to have the damage necessary to get through this. The NRG, maybe throwing good money after bad. They're deploying everything. They're going all in on this team fight. Gaston low, but it's beautiful support from Aramoria Kararova, keeping everybody online despite the ultimates. Aramori still has the Mantis ultimate, and it's all Nightmare in the feed. Looks like they're going to close out this map, put themselves to 3-0 in the series with ultimates to spare, deploying everything now in the final moments. 99% is ticking up, and Nightmare, despite a potentially disastrous round 1, they brought it back. They've secured things. NRG trickling into the point, but it's too little too late. Nightmare full strength, everyone alive, and they close out the map on domination.
Going up 3-0 in the series. Nightmare, that has got to be demotivating for NRG, right? They got so close this map after getting blown out, speed ran through the first 2 matches. They got very close right now. They adjusted, but just a little bit too little too late, right?
Yeah, it just shows how much Nightmare has to work with, right? Even when some of these big individual plays are coming in, Nocturnal was great on the Psylocke, right? Did bring big damage. Look at that damage output from Cal, you know, top of the lobby. When it comes to individual performance, NRG are no slouches. These are serious heavy hitter players, but it's the team play, it's the ultimate management from Nightmare that is putting them over the top right now. That is the reason they are our previous champion, and the reason that they are cruising towards a potential 2nd championship here in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, as you were saying, I do like the triple duelist composition as well out of NRG, right? Cal doing an amazing job with 22,000 damage, barely taking any damage as well, being able to get in and get out very optimally, right? And Nocturnal as well with the Psylocke, just being able to get those crucial early eliminations, but just they could not secure the win at the end. A very close back and forth battle right there, but Nightmare is going up 3-0, only needing 1 more victory to go on to that grand finals and take on either Euphoria or NRG. Can NRG come back from this, do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough test. I do feel like maybe they found something that they can start to work with the triple duelist comp, but as soon as they exposed any gap in Nightmare, I mean, it was completely solved in the next round. I mean, maybe completely solved is unfair. NRG were still finding opportunities. We're still making some of those fights competitive, but you got to think back to some of these big moments. I mean, Gaskin hitting, I think it was a 5 or 6-man Eye of Agamotto. Things like that just can't happen if you want to take down Nightmare. You can't be letting these players find these huge opportunities, and that's kind of the challenge, I think, of the triple duelist comp. comp, you're a little bit more vulnerable to getting bursted. As much as you have the opportunities to find picks and put out big damage, you can just as easily be shut down due to the lack of that second Vanguard. And I mean, I think Gasket really proved that, like, okay, the second Vanguard can be pretty strong in the 2-2-2 setup.
Yeah, only running one Vanguard with 3 duelists, it does leave your own Vanguard very vulnerable, right? Just getting absolutely poked and punished by the 2 opposing Vanguards, leaving them a little less room to work with, right? You're heavily relying on your damage heroes to just secure those early eliminations, right? They were getting those, right? But they just couldn't convert as much as they hoped.
Yeah, and I love how quick Nightmare was to adapt there, right? The first round goes against them. They're running the triple Vanguard setup, which, by the way, was a great strength for them in the previous tournament, something that they were really effective with, that you know, brought them some success and victories in that last tournament. But they were very quick as well to drop it when it wasn't working. They just, all right, like, that didn't work. We're going to bring something different in the very next round. And it's that speed of adaptation that I think is a key difference maker for teams that are aiming for the grand finals. And I think for all the teams competing next week in the Marvel Rivals Championship over the next 2 weeks, I should say, it's something you really have to keep an eye on, is that having that strategic depth that's already prepared going into the match. If you're just trying to figure out what to do when you're already down 2, down 3, it's a much more difficult proposition than when you've got these strategies prepared. So I think Nightmare, their preparation, their practice, it looks like it's really paying dividends, as even when a team gives them trouble in a series, they have more options in the strat book. So they've got to be feeling confident that their adaptation was successful. They're up 3-0 in the series. It's a best of 7, so potentially one more map to close out the series and put yourselves in the grand finals in that top 2 here in the Marvel Rivals Invitational.
Yeah, like, as you were saying, I agree 100%. That's what separates the best teams, right, from the teams that are strong as singular players, right? But you need to have different compositions deep in your pocket, right? Just being able to switch to those immediately is what separates the best from the best, right? And we're going to show you guys the highlights from the previous match, and then we will take a short break and get into the 4th match of the series.
Trapping all those fighting souls, but yet across the world I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon. And I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you really are? Show me that you are still the only one for me. I'll be waiting for you. Wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rift splinters again, we are rebels till the end. Rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals till the end of time. We will clash, no matter where. We will fight, reaching across time and space. reverse all time, I see you turning the tides. And do you see now our time, our turn? We can still fight like the wind and fire. And wonder no more. That now is the only time your heart is mine. Light has fallen, darkness grows, and yes, we fight for our destiny and fate. New days smiling for the past and future. Break those chains, lead the way, fight with me. And when you wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rift splinters again, we are rivals till the end. Rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals again until the end of time. Show me that you are still the only one that matters for me. I'll be waiting for you. Wait up, open your hands, holding on to your heart. Look inside you. Can you feel it? The sparks in you. Add it up, unleash it up. Wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rift splinters yet again, we are rivals till the end. And rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals till the end of time. Remember the dusk, the lights gripping tightly, trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world, I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon. And I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you really are? Show me that you are still the
Welcome back, everybody, to the Marvel Rivals Invitational. I'm Jake, joined by Hank. And if you're just joining us, Nightmare is up 3-0 in the upper bracket final over NRG. It's a best of 7. There's only one map potentially standing in their way of securing a grand finals placement, a top 2 finish here in the Marvel Rivals Invitational.
Yeah, and the loser of this match, they are not out of the tournament. They will be going up against Euphoria in the losers bracket, a very hungry team, right? They lost to Nightmare in the first round in the winners bracket. Very close back and forth, at least the first and second maps maybe. And they are very hungry, right? I feel like Euphoria could maybe take down either of these teams as well, but Nightmare, they're just looking unstoppable right now, right? Up 3-0 in the series. It is a best of 7. NRG would have to have a miracle to pull this off, right?
Yeah, in that last round of domination, I think NRG showed a lot of strength and you know, the ability to fight back in a tough situation, especially in the triple duelist comp, really punished Nightmare when they ran a triple Vanguard. However, switching back to the 2-2-2, the bread and butter for Nightmare, it proved to be enough. They were able to bring domination back, get the reverse sweep there, winning 2-1, and now they've got basically 4 maps back to back. Winning only one of them is enough to put themselves in the grand finals. But I think for this Nightmare squad, they don't want to give any quarter to their opposition. They want to end this in a 4-0 fashion. And honestly, it's looking good for them. Trying to give them the most caster curse absolutely possible. We need everything stacked up in favor of NRG to get them a chance to come back in this series.
Yeah, if I'm Nightmare, I do want to secure this 4-0 right here. NRG, they were able to glimpse onto a little bit of hope in that last match, right? Securing at least one round in the series, banning nothing. That is a huge throw from NRG that is just clinging on to dear life right now, needing a miracle to take down Nightmare. Not able to ban anyone. That is unfortunate for them. Losing the Hela as well. Cal cannot pull that out. Nightmare
Cal,
just
where
very
are you
solid.
at?
Nightmare very solid with that Hela ban right now. Staying true to that.
I mean, I think the first ban is an interesting ban. Like, it makes sense actually for a team to just always first ban the same thing. Like, if you just decide we're a team that's gonna first ban Hela for all time, you can just like focus on strategies that don't involve Hela, or that, you know, like where Hela is out of the game, what are we gonna play? And for any team that wants to use Hela, sure, you can practice as much as you want, but when you go up against Nightmare, you're not going to be able to use it. And so it makes it a little bit scary, I think, to commit. No ban, but a
No.
Jeff Protect for NRG. All right, they're getting crazy. They do ban Iron Man, though. That makes a lot of sense. With the Hulk Protect, we know what Rymazing can do with that team up.
I don't like to see this out of NRG. Not making a first ban, trolling with the Jeff Protect as well. I hope their mental is not just in the ground right now. We need... NRG, you need to fight back. It is still possible. You can't give up, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's such a long road ahead of them, and Nightmare has shown such strength. Banning Psylocke, I think, makes a lot of sense with how good Nocturnal was on the previous map on the Psylocke. Was really winning a lot of those trades with Super Gomez, coming out on top in the 1v1s at times. Nonetheless, Nightmare are all business. Like, these bans make total sense. It's what they've been consistently strong with. Hogs now, you know, secured one of the dive tanks. Remember, both of those were banned out in the previous match. So I think running this triple duelist setup can be pretty scary when there's a dive tank on the field. I mean, you really do rely on your mobility as the duelist to stay alive and continue to poke down with pressure. However, dive tanks can really change that dynamic. And Nightmare, I mean, this is bread and butter for them. The Adam Warlock team up, right? Like, missing that first ban for NRG. Now Nightmare are back into something that's so comfortable and so confident for them. Super Gomez on the Star-Lord, you know, Kurova and Aramori on the Adam Warlock and the Mantis, respectively. This is just extreme comfort mode for them. NRG is getting real wild and crazy. Marking some wild characters. See if they can make it work. Nocturnal, if you play Black Widow and live more than 10 seconds per life, I will be impressed in this lobby.
Oh yeah, I feel like we could see some very instantaneous speed run eliminations right here onto the Black Widow potentially. Nightmare, they're just running their comfort lineup. NRG, they needed to ban something from this team up right away. It's not looking good for them off rip.
Looks like Hodzic building a strange TP there, but Super Gomez punishing him for it, putting some pressure down on him. This TP is getting crazy. Super Gomez is making the most of the TP, brawling in. Does take a bit of pressure, but Cal now getting targeted down, got isolated off the play, and very disconnected moves from NRG. Cal went through the TP solo, but the pressure was so heavy from Nightmare, no one else was able to follow. Essentially a free pick. Cal over to the Squirrel Girl. Nocturnal on Hawkeye. They're going with the everybody play their best hero strategy, but Nightmare, they're so well drilled. This feels like desperation to me from NRG.
I feel like they're just rubbing it in at this point. Is NRG, this cannot feel good, right? Just getting held in spawn, down 3-0, getting just not even being able to come out of spawn, right? Their mental has got to be just drained right now.
Cal slept by Mantis, followed up on Gaskin with the cleanup. Beautiful from Nightmare. So far, flawless on the defense. Only the spawn room can protect you. It's not even enough.
Dying through the spawn. Adam Warlock just taking down Spidey, Fun FPS in the sky. There's no running away from Nightmare right now. They're just such a strong team, and they're playing their comfort picks right now too. I feel like there's nothing NRG can do at this point.
Yeah, the space creation from Hogs is beautiful. He's constantly getting in there, mixing it up, and that's allowing players like Super Gomez and Kurova to have so much space to work with. Ultimate's coming online now for Nightmare. Rack Attack does have that Luna Snow ultimate. Maybe it'll be enough, but a big burst from Kurova onto Nocturnal before the fight has even really begun, and NRG struggling to get anything going on the offense. This is a spawn camp so far.
A little bit of a Star-Lord diff right there from Super Gomez onto Cal, but I feel like NRG, they have to do something about Super Gomez on this high ground as well, right? Maybe contest him, take him out. He's just outputting so much damage, getting those elims. It's just, there's nothing NRG can do right now.
Cal is alive behind, trying to mix it up, trying to get a fight, but the support is just instantly there from the rest of Nightmare. They're so quick to help each other. Everyone outside of the spawn. Legendary pop that's going to force the Luna Snow response, but Punisher all alone, caught, connected on Gaskin with a big stun. Avagamoto doesn't convert into more kills, but did deny any potential aggression from Rack Attack's Luna Snow ultimate. Super Gomez now waiting above the spawn, targeting down that backliner. Cal did find one though. The Legendary popped, trying to turn it into more. Kurova looking for a res, but so far just Aramori popping the Mantis ult. That's all they need to stabilize. Proba still holding on to that ultimate, still looking for a potential later clutch. NRG, it's a big ultimate dump from them. Fun with the Punisher ultimate. Maybe this is finally what they needed to clutch. Hogs popped the ultimate Hulk, but he's getting absolutely melted by Punisher. Still gets kills though, despite that amount of pressure. And now the Dark Troll into the backline. Rymazing is cleaning house with this enormous sword, cutting them to pieces. Squirrel Girl sent packing to the spawn. No, doesn't quite. Stays alive. Rymazing backs off. And such stability. I mean, once again, they're touching the spawn door. Hank, this is not okay.
Rymazing absolutely clutching up as he goes down there, but NRG was looking like they got what they needed, and they just get wiped like flies like that. And Nightmare is playing phenomenal.
Yeah, maybe they've gone a little bit too close to the sun, but as is Nightmare's fashion, you know, they're consistent, stabilizing, grouping up together, low on ultimates at this moment. Maybe Ultraviolet can get something done with that mass res from Adam Warlock, but Cal all alone, caught potentially by Magic, is finished off by Rymazing. Nightmare keeping each other stabilized, healing up right now, regrouping, and an opportunity to get aggressive. Fun is brawling with the shotgun, close range, dominates the Magic, looks to potentially clean up another energy, starting to get something going here with this offense.
Yeah, only 3 seconds remaining as well. They have to play near perfect right now and reach that checkpoint. Cal trying to hawk down Super Gomez. He manages to have gotten away. Yeah, very well played from Super Gomez. Ultimate's building up as well. Hogs with the elimination on the Hod stick, and out comes the Legendary too from Super Gomez.
Yeah, and the support ultimate keeping people alive. Mass res comes out from Ultraviolet, but they're getting bursted down right off the res. It's not enough. It looks like Nightmare's stabilizing here. Clock is out. It's overtime. Still being contested on the payload, but Nightmare has returned to defend. It's last second touches for NRG, only 2 alive. Super Gomez going for the one clip at the spawn door, adding further insult to this brutality of a match. Nightmare get the full hold very deep on first point off of a masterful spawn camp performance. They are putting on a clinic, punching their ticket here to the grand finals with only one offense left standing in their way.
Yeah, at this point, after those 3 rounds, I think NRG is very demotivated. There's just nothing they can do at this point. Nightmare has been showing us that they are the strongest team right now in Marvel Rivals. NRG, definitely a very solid, very good team, of course, as well, right? But Nightmare is just so strong. They've practiced all these team comps, being allowed to play their comfort picks as well, with the Star-Lord, Mantis, Adam Warlock doing nothing about that to give them any bit of an advantage, right? And they're just showing why they're the best.
That missed first ban is such a tragedy from Nightmare. I mean, at least, or rather from NRG, at least maybe if you had stopped this Adam Warlock team up, I think that would have helped a little bit. NRG trying to use it themselves. Cal over to the Wolverine. Curious to see what Cal can get done on a Wolverine. Black Widow as well. We're going to see some of the wild and crazy characters come out. Honestly, Wolverine looks sick. Sometimes apparently this character has the highest win rate in pubs. I did not know that. But Dustin was showing me that it actually is a high win rate character. Haven't really seen it at all at this top level. Maybe Cal can, put on a display, show us how it's done. Nightmare also marking some crazy heroes, but so far, Hank, they've been all business. They've been locking it in with some really strong comps. I can't imagine that's going to change this close to a grand final secure.
Yeah, definitely looks like we have a little bit of some troll picks on both ends. Black Widow coming out. Wolverine is very strong as well. Definitely a tank shredder. Only one Vanguard, I believe, on both teams as well. I'm curious to see how this goes. Maybe taking them off the map, Cal. Taking out Aramori instantaneously. Oh my goodness.
That was one of the sickest plays I've ever seen in Marvel Rivals. The Wolverine absolutely dominating, but Rymazing is cleaning house. Ultraviolet forced to get the self-res. Hogs onto the Wolverine as well. Does get a cleanup. Looking for more. Snowballing in. Knows that this Bucky is on the flank, and the 1v1 is pretty scary. Oh, and another push off the map. That's the counter to Nightmare. Take them off the map. Maybe that's the only way you can get it done.
Yeah, there's some very fun creativity you can have in Marvel Rivals with not only Wolverine taking players off the map, Jeff as well. There's lots of fun things that you can do.
Nightmare starting to push that objective. Only a few meters remaining. Ultraviolet, he can't afford to go down here. Needs the support from the teammate. Rack Attack is there on the Jeff. At an insane burst, though, by Aramori. Shuts down Cal on this Wolverine. Normally tanky, but not in this instance. Nocturnal strikes back. Does shut down Super Gomez. Keeping this interesting, but it's too little, too late, and no one's on the objective. It ends not with a bang, but with a whimper. Nightmare 4-0 going to your grand finals. They're our first secured top 2 team in the Marvel Rivals Invitational.
Yeah, Nightmare going to that grand finals, competing for that $10,000 for first place, remaining undefeated Korova MVP. They are just showing us why they are the best. And NRG will be competing up against Euphoria in the losers bracket for a chance for both of them to get their rematch against Nightmare. And look at this stat sheet, Jake.
Korova just racks up MVPs. I mean, I really feel that this is that Korova's such a sleeper dominant player for Nightmare. You know, we talk a lot about the duelist, you know, they're getting all the resources, they're making big kills, and that's true for Nightmare. I don't want to take anything away from those duelists and vanguards, but Korova has been a real standout for me on this Adam Warlock. He's looked like the best to do it right now in the game, able to hang with the duelists in terms of damage output and kills, but still doing his job, putting out big heals and being that very stable, consistent backliner. And, you know, for Nightmare, a team that really likes this team up, that's a great asset to have in this match.
Yeah, definitely very crucial, especially because Mantis and Adam Warlock, like we were saying, the strategist heroes in Marvel Rivals, right? Not only is your job to survive and heal your team, right? But you can output so much damage, especially as Adam Warlock and Korova managing to not go down, not die, not once, right? Just being able to relentlessly put out consistent damage with Adam Warlock. Burst heroes just one-shot them. He's been doing an amazing job as well for his team. Not to take away from the duelist, everyone on Nightmare has been performing at a ginormous level, right? And that is why they are your undefeated team in the grand finals right now.
Yeah, they really are the team to beat right now. They're sitting pretty, wanting to claim that first place prize. And this is our last match of the day. We'll be back tomorrow for more. But if you missed any of the action today, you missed any of the matches, stay around on this channel. After we wrap up today, we're going to be running replays, be able to, you know, check out some of these matches that already transpired. Euphoria versus LG. We got to see Euphoria putting on a clinic, looking really impressive there, shutting down LG. We also get to see the highlight replay of this match. So after this, we're going to jump into some highlights and then stick around for those replays of the matches we played. It was awesome to see that Wolverine come out there at the end of the last match. I love the creativity you can pull with Wolverine, like diving people off the map, diving them into your teammates. I think it could be a bit of a slept-on hero. Maybe at this level of play, there are stronger strategies, but it's just awesome to see that kind of anything can work right now in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, I feel like even at this level, Wolverine is an well, not extremely strong, but he is a very strong hero, right? You can switch up your team comes with that, single out a specific target that is maybe harassing your team and just dive them off the map like we saw in that last replay. But Nightmare is going on to the grand finals. Tomorrow, we will be witnessing Euphoria going up against NRG, right? Two very strong teams as well. Nightmare just got the better of both of them, right? Do we have any predictions for how it'll go tomorrow, maybe?
I think I'm expecting actually both matches to be reasonably competitive, despite the fact that most of the matches so far have been more one-sided with teams really running away with it. This is that point in the bracket where teams have had time to scout each other out, learn from one another. Euphoria, despite going down easy in that first round, they came back with a vengeance today. And for NRG was the opposite. They had a great first round and a rough round too. So I think both of those teams, that could be a competitive lower bracket final. I think Euphoria maybe is a little bit stronger, but it'll be tough to tell. And I think that triple duelist setup for NRG could put them over the top. And then whoever comes into the grand finals to face Nightmare, pretty scary. I feel like I'd rather see Euphoria put them to the test. I feel like some of those fights were a little bit closer, but also NRG, maybe they can refine that triple duelist setup and find something that can really put the kibosh on Nightmare's success.
Yeah, I feel like when Euphoria was going up against Nightmare in the first match of the tournament, right, it was a lot closer, right? And I feel like they have some unfinished business maybe from those matches for sure. And we saw Light pop off today as well with the Spider-Man, and they were popping off. They were showing us why they are a very strong team as well, right? I feel like that could be a pretty close series, but we just have to wait and see how it all plays out tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. I think Euphoria are going to really want revenge. Remember, they were the second place finisher to Nightmare in that previous War of the Realms tournament. So yeah, they're going to be gunning for that grand finals. They want to shut down NRG, not only securing themselves a top 2 finish, but potentially fighting for the trophy, fighting for revenge against Nightmare. But for Nightmare, I mean, they've got to be on top of the world right now. They have shut down everybody you know, even though there were some close maps, in the end, they are undefeated in maps in this tournament. They have to be your clear favorite to win. I think there's going to be a lot of fans who are excited to see what they bring, what they show out in the grand finals.
Yeah, so today's results, Euphoria did beat Luminosity 3-0, and Nightmare also defeating NRG 3-0. A lot of sweeps we've been seeing so far in this tournament. A lot of very dominant matches. Nightmare, they are looking unstoppable right now. We will see tomorrow if Euphoria or NRG can pull it off. Which team is stronger? Which team will get their revenge maybe against Nightmare, or if Nightmare will come out on top.
Yeah, NRG versus Euphoria. I think that's going to be really interesting with NRG's strength on the individual duelists, their ability to leverage, especially that triple duelist comp. Nightmare found the answers, but will Euphoria have the same success? And vice versa, I feel Euphoria has been the team that's maybe most similar to Nightmare in terms of the strategies they play, the way they execute. Nightmare was pretty dominant in that first round, but remember, I mean, Light had a disconnect in map 3. Like, that's got to leave a bad taste in your mouth if you're Euphoria. You got to feel like you can come back into this grand finals and flip the script on Nightmare.
Yeah, I did forget about that very unfortunate disconnect for Light in the last match against Nightmare. They, as I said, they definitely have unfinished business with them. They have shown how strong of a team they are as well. I feel like they can hang with them, but Nightmare is definitely the heavy favorites. The only team to not drop a single match in this entire tournament. That's why they are the best. That's why they did win the recent War of the Realms tournament as well. And it's looking like they might take this one home, right?
Yeah, it looks good for them. And I think a lot of these teams not only are focused on, you know, winning here, winning the Marvel Rivals Invitational, but they're also thinking ahead to next week and the week after when we'll be playing the Marvel Rivals Championship. And that's one where people can qualify based on building teams playing in the game client. So it's a fully open tournament. We could see very different names come out on top as well. I want to give you guys a shout out. Remember, get into the game. Check out our new game mode, Jeff's Winter Celebration. We got a new Jeff 4v4 game mode. If you complete a few challenges in that game mode, you're going to get a free new costume for Jeff. We've also got these sweet new winter themed skins in the shop. You can pick those up. I need this Groot skin. I just got to say it. I mean, this is I can't be seen without this Groot skin, frankly.
Oh, 100%. I did myself already cop the Groot and Raccoon skin. I've been absolutely farming with the Groot skin in the ranks. I feel like it might give a little bit of a buff, maybe, you know what I'm saying? But then also the Venom and Magic skin's also very fire as well, coming to the shop in a week, I believe. All of those are absolutely fire. It was a pleasure casting this tournament as well, Jake. We got to see the top of the top Marvel Rivals gameplay, and it's only going to get even better tomorrow, right? And it's been pretty phenomenal so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun to see what the top players bring. And, you know, some of these top teams really have some pretty impressive, innovative strategies, stuff that I'm definitely going to take into my ranked games when I hop on and play Marvel Rivals. If you missed any of the action today, you can stick around on this channel. We're going to have replays running. We're going to rerun some of those matches. You'll be able to see what the teams brought to bear, see what was successful for them, and what you can learn from when it comes to hopping into Marvel Rivals yourself and bringing out your favorite Marvel heroes.
Yeah, and tomorrow they will be competing for that $20,000 prize. First place taking home $10,000, second place $7,000, and third place $3,000. That's a lot of money to be playing for, Jake, and we're gonna see who is built for these moments.
Yeah, you know, this is that moment when the pressure's on. Teams facing elimination. Both of our matches tomorrow are elimination games, so it's win or go home. You know, Nightmare gets to wait in the wings, secured that grand final spot, gets to see what their opponents decide to bring. But Euphoria and NRG, I think they both want to get revenge on Nightmare. And also beyond even thinking about beating Nightmare, right? This is between third place is $3 grand, second place is $7,000. So there's a lot to be won in that lower final. There's a lot riding on it. And for those players, they're going to be motivated. They're going to be bringing it back. I think NRG has a lot of strong individual performers. Maybe they could put something together. Euphoria looking good individually, but also with amazing teamwork, with great dives, similar to what we've seen from Nightmare. But in the end, that grand finals, pretty scary to go up against an undefeated opponent in this tournament.
Yeah, Nightmare just being able to close things out today. Very well played from them. I think we're going to wrap things up over here. It was a pleasure casting for you guys as well. An amazing tournament today, and it's only going to get better tomorrow. Jake, it was a pleasure, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Likewise, Hank, it was a lot of fun. See you guys on the flip side tomorrow. We'll be back with more action, and like I said, more replays on the channel to come. So don't go anywhere if you missed any of that action from today. This has been Jake and Hank. Thank you guys so much.